Come back. You lucky fuckers. Excuse me. Alright, I'm going to set that other chat up, Dan. Is he gone? Yeah, he might nipped away. Nah, fair enough. Alright. No, that's not good. But nah, Alfred's is on the ballpark of quick fit. We'll never fucking use them unless in a dire emergency. Nah. That's not too bad then. Yeah. Sometimes when you want it, you want to save a few quid. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. $12, I think. Yeah, exactly. Right, if he comes right, tell him I've jumped in that other party ready for when Gary and that come in. And see you later.
Right, boys, best of luck tonight, chaps. Is there no one else in here? Oh, it is.
Cheers, bitch! Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking cunt.
Yeah, fucking dickhead. Hello, my stream, by the way.
Hello, Dan Stream.
Fucking hell. Insert coins quick around here. And Callie, fuck me.
Thank you.
O'Reilly.
Yeah, Mustang's meant to be good though, isn't it? Can somebody turn the wind off?
Shut the fuck up.
It was rather windy. Mate, if it's you with the wind, I'm
it
looking
loud?
at. Yeah, and someone will go mental. I'm going to join him. Best of luck, Dan.
Cheers. Catch you later.
Not just yet, babe. Philippe.
Matthew, what is the point?
Yep.
It's less than half a grid. Didn't we not stream AM with yes? What is the fucking point? Oh, look at that Bentley on that front now.
When you get up, can you get me a Mars ice cream out of the freezer?
Champions, choose your weapons. No silver.
And we're waiting on who? Gary.
He chooses teeth and claws.
Gary we're missing and...
Pacina.
Yeah. That's just the point. But Pacina does have a
ban, yeah.
Toby, no!
fuck's sake.
That's cheating! Oh no. Oh god. Don't worry, Toby. You're gonna heal up just fine, pal. I think I was. Whatever. I guess this one goes to the vampires then. Okay. You need us to lick our wounds? Okay. Toby, don't lick your wounds!
Let's put a bloody pound ticket in.
Honestly, it looks better than it did 5 minutes ago already. Hey! Hey, man. You think we could keep the bone? Yeah? That's okay. Cool. Cool, guys. Alright, guys, spread out. Let's find that son of a bitch.
Mind where you're walking. If you hear it squeak, you may have stepped on the toy.
Oh.
Keeping the weapon,
They're keeping the duck toy.
They're keeping the dog toy. They are obviously werewolves.
Easy is never dull. She certainly knows how to get people's attention.
Good Zoom call.
Whether it be
Yeah, you may have to do a bit more talking tonight, because if I keep muting, it's because I'm coughing my guts up and phlegming and sneezing.
I'm half tempted to say fuck it tonight. It's not worth streaming 12 cars.
If you need to go, you need to go, dude.
My cat's glaucoma treatment, and the expenses have entirely wiped my savings.
since I've met her, she's had at least 6 pairs of
Fucking
grandparents.
pointless.
Looks like
When it's like this, it's gonna be worse next week, isn't it?
cubicle.
I reckon so, yeah. Personally.
I asked my boyfriend Colin if I could stay with him.
Because how far is Dan in front of Clouden?
But he's not ready for that.
Well, Dan can technically wrap it up tonight.
Credit card in 6 months.
Hang on, I've took my headset off a second. Yeah, Dan can technically win it tonight, but...
I got a feeling Pro-Am will be as bad next week. No, with Max winning the title.
Been wonderful. I didn't know I could feel such depth of emotion or utter suffering. But I don't think this is healthy. I'm sorry. I wish you nothing but continued success feeding on the addle-brain cattle that waste their lives around us. But I can't be your
Shit. Come on. I believe in... That was his first match on the roster.
Nice.
And he wins the title.
Yeah, boy.
life to take out of these morons.
On the NXT UK. You know, when they used to have that.
You couldn't help yourself.
His entrance is all wrong though, because he don't like the turn of hand when he's standing at the entrance right, he's all wrong.
Right, I'm going to run for a quick piss.
Or as Beethoven used to say, die Busch waren, die nicht schneiden. These bushes won't trim themselves. There again, he was always saying shit like that.
He's far worse. I can't get it out very well, mate. Right, should we go and put this Play-Doh away? Uncle Matt's got the controller, and I don't know where it is. Ah.
The TA was asking what you in the chem section. I said you were feeling a bit under the weather, so I brought you some.
Come on then, should we go and put this away? Quick!
Let's all say 6.
Fucking 10 drivers.
If 10 drivers can't keep fucking clean, though. As far as I'm aware, Beezy's cleared his quality ban, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Because you did it in
GT4.
GT4.
He cleared it in GT4s, yeah. I'll go live in a minute. I'm not fucking streaming 10 cars.
Go live when we're in the countdown for the race, I reckon. Because where's Gary? Is he running late, or...?
He always runs late, doesn't he?
Way! Rich Beasley's lost it. Was in the ball. Yeah, I know. I've had second chicanes there for.
Fucking absolute shit show.
I tell you what, next week, if Dan's won the title, it'll be like, Max, do you want to race on Thursdays? As well. So you get a taste of pro. Just to build the grid up.
Fucking honestly.
Because there's no overtaker this week either.
Nope.
Eckhart was confirmed and then he declined. Fury ain't got a PS5 set up. Or, well, he ain't got control of it at work, so has he?
Or he's got his PC and he can't be bothered.
He's got his PC, he can't be bothered. I expect the PS5 to be sold.
No, his mum's not letting him sell it.
Or just sit in a box and that'd be it and never be seen again, wouldn't it?
Pretty much.
Oh, 10 fucking cars.
It's crazy to think that back on the Project Cars 2 days you could only have 16.
Yeah, I know, but the races were shorter, wouldn't they, as well?
2 30-minute races.
On the PS4, this would have been half grid and we would have not ran it on stream. For the PS4 version of ACC. Unless there's a championship.
Well, the cameras had gone. If the cameras hadn't gone, we'd have ran it.
Papa man. No one saw my second win. Unless they were watching my stream. Well, at the moment, top 10 are everyone. How many's for Tuesday? Phil, like, can you let me know the decision before Friday? No, because it won't be done till the weekend.
Sorry, I'm in
You had a Fall Guys quest, yeah?
I'm about to start commentary, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Triggers into the room chats.
What's that?
You and Jamie coming down talking about Fall Guys.
Who cares? Fall Guys is shit. Played it for about about an hour. PS4 version, and then, oh, PS5 version. Auto pop trophies. Bye!
Right, you ready?
Yeah.
5, 4. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport here for the latest edition of the Pro Series. I'm your host, Matthew Duffin, joined in the commentary box by Phil Radin in what should be hopefully an interesting night. A very, very disappointing grid and a very disappointing turnout from the Pro Series lads tonight. Pasina's just got in the lobby. He does have a race 1 and a qualifying ban, so he won't be able to do any of them in this first stage. We are awaiting Gary. Excuse me, we are awaiting Gary, and that is the last driver to turn up tonight in what has been just a pretty poor turnout from this Pro Series in this evening's race. Phil, good evening to yourself. We say this, I think, every August, that the turnout seems to just get a little lower and lower and lower. 12 drivers tonight, you know, it's not where you want to see the grid. Obviously, we know there's some holidays for the kids, and obviously families might be out and you might be away on your holidays, but yeah, not the showing we'd have hoped for.
No, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty disappointed with this as well. It's just all the effort we've put in as admins and stewards, and it's just make you feel a bit bad.
Deflated, yeah, indeed it is. 12 drivers declined 4 tonight, and 5 unresponsive. So it's not the best of nights, yeah. But either way, we're going to look forward to some good race night. We say we are expecting Gary in the track, on the track as soon as possible. Hopefully he'll come in with a couple of minutes to spare. But we've got a 7-car grid at the minute, which is separated by 7/10 of a second. A little bit of a gap back to Richard Beasley, Ian Gray and Travis King. Obviously Pasina's only just come in the lobby himself as Richie Beasley crosses the line and improved to go within 7/10 to make that 8 cars within 7/10. So hopefully that could provide some fantastic thrilling racing.
Yeah, hopefully some clean racing and no flying Lamborghinis or BMWs like in Pro-Am last night.
Which was a fantastic night's worth of racing, and this is going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on over these next couple of hours.
Yeah, I was going to say we have to put everything in the server beforehand, because if there's any Pro-Am drivers an extra race just to boost the numbers up, but we can't do that anymore, can we?
No, we don't have that anymore. Obviously caused problems back on the Project Cars 2 days with drivers getting in the way and causing incidents with pro drivers who was up for the championship. And speaking of that championship, well, both can technically, mathematically be decided tonight. Will they? One more likely than the other, especially because one of the drivers for Team FBR is not here tonight, and that is Michael Harris, who is not here this week, sadly. So SimPlay Racing can win that Constructors' Championship over Team FBR tonight. Quantum Apex are P3 with Greasy Bandits in 4th. Greasy Bandits could go ahead of Quantum Apex tonight due to the fact that Overtaker is not here. Jaeger Motorsport are 5th with GK Racing 6th. Then it's Effect Motorsport, where Dennis Newman is pulled out of the championship and has pulled out of SimPlay for a season or 2. He's gone for a little break, so he is no longer in the running. BSP Racing Independent P8 with Effect Motorsport 2, P9, Vorta Racing P10 and FSO Racing Team P11 then. And if you look at that Drivers' Championship, it is Dan Davis, who is 75 points clear of Clouden. Clouden's been bringing that gap down and chipping away in recent weeks, but it can be wrapped up today. Mathematically, probably not, due to the small amount of cars on the grid here tonight, which means that Clouden will probably not fall too far back over Dan in the standings. Then it is Overtaker P3. He will be out the running tonight from Harris and Eckholt. They're both not here, so that gives Gary Leach the chance to maybe move into that top 5. RB P7 with Insert Coin, P8 Sky Shundlemeyer, Mike Matthews, Ian Gray, Ben. A chance for them to do the business. Pacina could go above Hoffer. P15 and 14, that's going to be an interesting one. No Fuchs, no Newman, no Stein. King could move up, or King will move above Stein because they're tied on 186. King could also gain on Dennis Newman tonight. No Will Friedman, so that allows O'Reilly the chance to go back above him. No Burton, no Flem, no Joe, no Sabat, no Kyle, no Mitch Buchanan, Kreuzer, Joseph or Clarbel as well. So yeah, a bit of a poor turnout, but PN, we've got 12. We will have 12 cars, 11 for that 20-minute race in what should be an absolute belter. And I'd love to bring you action on the circuit, but everybody's in the pits.
Everyone's in the pits. There's a minute and a half ago, and it takes about that to do a lap around here in the GT3 car anyway. So that's it. That's the end of track action for free practice 1. So, you're the most successful driver here at Zolder, aren't you, Matt?
Yes, I am. That's what the tables are saying. 6 wins, no poles. Max Mulder 1 pole, 3 wins. Just looking down this list, Overtaker a pole and a win to his name. Drivers like De Silva's on there with 1 pole. Dan only has 1 pole at this circuit, no wins to his name. So it's going to be an interesting one actually as we go through this night to see who can do what. O'Reilly 2 wins in the GT4s the other night, so he could want to add to his tally. Maybe make himself the second most successful driver around this circuit if he has a good night tonight.
He's got a very good chance of it, hasn't he? So with only 11 cars here, which is
yeah, he has indeed. McLaren as well. Sorry, Phil, will make its 1,250th appearance as a manufacturer, and Gary Leach Race 1 will make his 350th appearance as a driver. Just looking down the list, nobody else can tonight. No podiums, no wins, no pole positions. Just that for the McLaren and Gary Leach.
Yeah, who's just got into the session with about 5 seconds to spare.
Gary Leach.
Gary, yeah. So
just looking at the other statistics at the moment. BMW as well, apologies. No, BMW can't because there is no BMWs out there on the grid tonight, so they could have maybe got 2 steps closer to race win number 49, to race win number 50, but they will not do tonight then. So who is going to win this first race, Phil? That is going to be the biggest question with 12 drivers on this grid.
I'll tell you what, O'Reilly's in the perfect position, and he was pretty good in GT4s on Tuesday, so he's got a feel for the circuit already.
And his lap times was pretty quick as well.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go for O'Reilly.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go the way of O'Reilly as well. I think he's in with a great shout of this race 1 win, and it's going to be an interesting one to see who will do what, as we're just going to get the pole out there on the circuit now. Now, Pacina should not be readying up. He does carry that race 1 ban.
Yeah, well, it will show if he reads Discord. 20 seconds.
Let's hear from you in the chat. Could be a night where we use the chat quite a bit tonight, so get your comments in. Let's hear from you in the chat. Don't forget, if you are new, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We hope to bring you more cars on the grid for next week's finale at Valencia, which PN Championship's only really GT4 and maybe the Drivers' Championship in Pro Series, but Valencia should provide to be a fantastic circuit.
It should be, yeah, and Pacina's not returned to pits. Yeah, and Gary has just hit the wall on the warm-up lap.
That's the way to start your 250th.
250th?
350th. Not quite sure what is happening here with Gary. Something seems wrong with his. Something seems wrong with his wheel there.
So probably that's the trouble of coming in so late into the session. But then again, no. can't help it when you got a little one.
When you've got a little in, yeah, work. But that seems to be like a hardware issue for Gary. His wheel does not seem to be working properly there. So either way, we've got King, O'Reilly on pole from King with Pacina P3. Shouldn't have been there, but he is. Ben P4 with Ian Gray 5th. Mike Matthews P6. And, insert coin P7 from Gary Leach, who has now been reset back to the pits. Richard Beasley from Jamal Cloud and Dan Davis and Sky Schundelmeyer at the back.
No, that's not going to be right, is it? It's
No.
Dan.
It is meant to be down at the back, but yeah, I noticed there was a gap on the grid order, so either way, grid order has decided to glitch itself out. We apologise to Sky Schundelmeyer for that, but yeah.
But then again, though, he might be quite happy for that because you're going to get out the turn 1 melee.
You'd love to think with only 12 cars on the grid, there isn't going to be a melee.
I would hope so.
Fat bloke, if we could get you in, I'd love to, but obviously it's the forced entry list. But good evening to yourself, hope you're well. Looking forward to Sunday over on the FBR group. Snetted. Gary's left. So I think Gary's having wheel problems, yeah.
Yeah, his wheel's not connected. And like Project Cars 2, you can't just unplug and plug it back in on this game.
You can. Go to the options and select it.
Unless it's complete hardware failure. It's been quite warm for the last...
Yeah, the Logitech's normally a bit better than that though, so I'd be surprised if the Logitech has gone. Especially considering it doesn't really take much hammering in Gary's hands, with him not racing as much as others. But yeah, let's hear from you in the chat. Could be a night of chatting away here as the drivers all come towards the final chicane for the first time this evening. Money's on O'Reilly here. He's got the chance in that Mustang to pull that gap. And with only 11 cars taken to the start of this race, Pacina not meant to be in this one, but he is. There's nothing we can do about it now.
Nope.
And we are, for the first time this evening, green and go. They got hold for just after the start line, but it's a good start from O'Reilly, who's on that inside line of Travis King. Sky Schundelmeyer gets in front of Dan, and you just see Cloud and they're looking to the outside of Mike Matthews already going through turn 1. Little wiggle there from insert coin. That was a tap up the rear of Richard Beasley, I believe, from Sky Schundelmeyer as we filter into turn 2 now. Dan's looking around the outside of Richard Beasley, and it's all relatively clean through turns 1 and 2, so it might be that race 2 is Gary's 350th race start in this one. And as did Beasley just give Dan a little tap up the rear, not too sure there, but that is Pacina, who is wide on the grass and down towards the first chicane. They come, it's O'Reilly from King from Ben, now Clouder moving up onto that podium spot, and as they all come through the chicane, Mike Matthews taps the back of Ian Gray, and round they both go into the gravel goes Ian Gray. And he has kept that out the wall and manages to keep that going. Mike Matthews now rejoins to the circuit as well, but that's pretty much put to bed. Excuse me, their race. But look at this queue on the back of Travis King with Ben and Jamal Clouden with him. The McLaren's going together as King's wide. Up towards a hairpin, he's now in the wall.
Yeah, that looked like just hooked up on the grass and went, and it speared the car towards the wall, towards the hairpin, as the cameraman tries to find it.
Well, he's now got to go one more lap, so pit window opens in a minute, so he's got to go one more lap, I believe it is, before he can get himself into the pit lane. So already dramas on this circuit, but Dan's up to 6th, and this is the problem for Clouden, is he wants to chip away at Dan's lead. Well, he can chip away at Dan's lead, but it's not going to be a massive amount, because even if Dan has a bad night tonight, he's only going to finish 11th in this first race.
Yeah, and well, I think this is like, other than Brands Hatch, this is like one of our shortest laps we have around this season. At 1 minute 30.
I think bar Zandvoort as well. I think what was Zandvoort?
1:30.
Interesting. Fat Bloke saying the undercut was powerful last night. We miss you, Fat Bloke, out there, to be honest. We miss that Merc, because I think the Merc would have done quite well around here. Pacina's got past Ben, so has Clouden. So Clouden putting himself in second place. O'Reilly fastest lap, and he's got 2 race wins here from Tuesday night as they all hop over that first chicane. Tibbs, Sky Schundelmeyer in the grass, has a moment on his own, and he goes into the gravel trap, bouncing over that chicane. We saw that Max Mulder's McLaren didn't like that chicane too much last night, and while there's just more evidence that Schundelmeyer's doesn't like it either, pit window is open to who we're going to see him first, like Fat Bloke saying. Oh, it's Sam on the Fat Bloke account.
It's Sam.
Ah, there we go then.
Or another fat bloke account, because...
Yeah, they've got many names to the FBR boys. So it is Sam. And O'Reilly's coming down the back straight now. Does he, or is he going to be the first one to enter the pits? Straight in, not messing around. Clouden keeps it going. Pacina stays out. Ben stays out. Dan nearly clatters into the back of Ben, but Dan's into the pits. Early pit stop for him. Now, the last time Dan Davis entered the pits around this circuit, he got an almighty wallop up the rear end. All nice and clean because there's no Bentleys in his background. Richard Beasley, Sky Shundermeyer, King also comes into the pits. Ian Gray stays out and Mike Matthews in. So half the grid decided to bail and go into the pit lane here. Pacina still ahead of Ben though at the moment. It's a Ford Mustang 1-2. No, it's not. Because O'Reilly's in the pits. It's Clouden who leads. But look at Ben trying to tuck underneath that of Pacina. Coming through turn 3. Now at turn 2 in towards turn 3. Now Ben's got through on Pacina. And Ben, who's looking for his first podium of the season, making easy work of the Ford Mustang there.
As Sam's just said, yeah, we're both fat and blokes. Well, the commentary box here are very partial to McDonald's as well, so...
And are fat and are blokes, so we can join that same club. Sky Shundelmeyer again, bunny hopping over the curb, coming through the first chicane. He's managed to keep it going this time. I'm surprised Ian Gray didn't pit, but either way, he stays out on the circuit at the moment. And look at that, Insert Coin has got the jump over O'Reilly and over Dan Davis. O'Reilly and Dan Davis drop now. Dan's jumped O'Reilly in the pit, so did O'Reilly have a slow pit entry? Because O'Reilly's lost out as well, I believe, to Insert Coin here. Yes, he has. So O'Reilly's lost 2 places in the pit lane.
Did he change tyres? For 20-minute race?
I don't think. He was 5 seconds clear of Dan. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Mike Matthews gets to jump over King, but King obviously big damage to his name.
Clouden stays out. Gary has come back into the session, so he's got 2 minutes to wait. But he'll get out and carry on.
Technically, for Gary, it's probably going to be a thing of just test the wheel. I don't think this is going to go down as a race stock, so he won't be able to complete that 75% distance. So Ben and Sky Shundelmeyer now in. Ian Gray stays out on the circuit this time round. Richard Beasley can now catch Jamal Clouden. But interesting there, Dan in gets the jump over O'Reilly, and so does Insert Coin. So O'Reilly work to do now to get that Mustang back on pace.
As King's lot of speed and pit.
Yeah.
Penalty.
Came in too hot. That's unlucky for Travis King.
Or one thing I've noticed when I play this track in single players, you can get speed and pit penalty really easy on exit. Because you try to anticipate shifting up to second.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The other fat bloke keeps him in profit. I think he missed his pit box. Difficult with so many cars in the pit. So there you go. That's probably what happened to O'Reilly. As Ben and Shundelmeyer still in the pit. Shundelmeyer drops now. Ben now drops. So Dan Davis is going to get the jump over the pair of them. As might Insert Coin. As will O'Reilly hold position. So great pit stop from Dan Davis. And Shundelmeyer gets a stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, that's unlucky for Sky. Very unlucky, and round here that hurts you.
Yeah.
Way sideways coming out of turn 2 though.
The most annoying thing as well for Clouden is Clouden would have been hoping to have Dan Davis behind Insert Coin still and behind O'Reilly. That isn't the case for Jamal Clouden, as the top 4 stay out on the circuit at the moment. For Jamal, what he's got is he's got Dan Davis, who is well clear of Insert Coin and O'Reilly. We're going to watch O'Reilly a moment try and gain over the Honda of Naval Insert Coin. And this is an interesting one for me, Phil, is that Mustang should really pull the Honda in the straights, but the Honda through the chicane should be mighty. But again, saying that, the Ford Mustang will be able to straddle the curbs.
Yeah, because the Mustang could stamp curbs. What curbs? It's like the Bentley there in that respect. What are these? Oh, that's a curb, is it? I never noticed. I missed the Bentley.
As Insert Coin actually brings the gap down to Dan Davis. O'Reilly maintains his gap to Insert Coin. So Insert Coin through that middle sector just a little stronger than Dan Davis at this stage of the race. And let's see what he is through that final sector. 1.399. Yeah, pulls a couple of hundredths back again. And O'Reilly gains a couple of hundredths on Insert Coin. So all at the moment, they're not going to be feeling that slipstream effect, but all at the moment doing exactly what they need to do is they put a lap on Travis King, who's now in for a stop go, as now is Sky Shundelmeyer.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Gary is out on track, so he's only 3 laps down.
He'll score points in this first race. It's 350th, didn't go to plan, but hey ho, he can at least get some, treat this as a test session and get some testing. Stop go cleared for Travis King, so he is done and dusted to try and come around and gain over Sky Schundelmeyer. It's Dan flicked a cone over, insert coin through sector 1, brought that gap down a little more and just pulled away from O'Reilly slightly. So going to be interested to see on what he gains over Dan through sector 2. Clouden going for the long overcut here. Richard Beasley now enters the pit lane and is yet to be stationary. With not many cars on the grid, everybody's pit box is going to be down the order, but coming through sector 2, insert coin, look, he's got that gap down to a second to Dan, so he's really on a charge in the Honda at the moment.
Yeah, and you think with next season with the BOP, the Honda probably loses point here.
I think it loses like 1 or 2 kilos, whereas the Lamborghini loses about 16, so Honda a more favoured car around this circuit, it would say.
Yeah, well, the BOP's will make everything interesting for next season.
Yeah.
Well, if it's signed off by the admins.
I think it's pretty much already, been approved and accepted. Dan has pulled away through that final sector on the track. They've all got past Richard Beasley, who's just come off his limiter. So where's Ben? This could be tight between Ben and Richard Beasley here on the pit exit. Here comes Ben. Beasley comes out the pits. Ben's got through on Richard Beasley, so he's now just behind insert coin and Dan Davis, and that of O'Reilly as now Clouden comes into the pit lane. So this is going to be interesting for me, Phil. Where will Clouden re-emerge over this of Dan Davis? Dan through sector 1, maintains that gap to insert coin at the moment. 1.1 seconds seems to be that rough gap for these two. Good evening to people.
Oh,
Coin's gone. That's the end of that battle. O'Reilly will be thankful of that one. Ben now will be the beneficiary of trying to come through, but insert coin just trying to catch Dan too hard. Off he goes, and yeah, that's his day done. Gary's obviously still got to pit as well. He might come straight in, but it's great to see that Gary's wheel is now working.
It is. Well, it's an expensive hobby, especially when you get hardware failure, and it's just snuffed itself out. It's like, oh, I've got to spend another £500 on a wheelbase.
So Ian Gray's just stationary at his box. Gary stays out for another lap. Clouden still stationary in the pits. Dan's now at the final chicane. Now, roughly last night, it was if you turn into that final chicane, Clouden's now away and he's off the limiter now. This is going to be a close one, I reckon, coming through turn 1 in towards turn 2. You can see Clouden's dot is off the map coming through. I think Clouden's got the jump on Dan. He has. He's back on the circuit. Jamal Clouden keeps clear of Dan Davis by a good mile, but he's only going to pull 6 points back, PN, at the moment with that fastest lap and with that 5-point difference between the two of them eventually when Pacina pits.
Yeah, as Pacina's yet to pit, as is Larry, but Gary will probably just pit right at the end of the pit window, to be honest.
Clouden weaving down the straight a little bit there, trying to get some heat into those tyres. O'Reilly's 2.2 behind Dan. So an interesting one. I think he was right, Phil. I think O'Reilly changed tyres. I wonder if he's not caught the button and forgot to turn it off. Good evening to Tracy in the chat, who says, let's go, Sky. Yeah, an interesting one now. I said evening to Peaceful Step, I do. Jamal now, this could be going down to the wire between these two, because this is going to be an interesting race between Dan and Clouden.
The thing is, though, Dan's got the points advantage in the championship. He doesn't have to pass Clouden. In reality,
he doesn't. Yeah, and this is the problem, isn't it? Is Dan can just sit there, knowing Dan like we do, though. Dan's going to want to put on a show, and he's going to want to race Jamal.
Oh, Pacina's lost it in the final corner. Not Pacina, O'Reilly.
O'Reilly. And he's been in the wall as well, so that could give insert coin a potential podium. Here they come. So O'Reilly, he's put that in the wall hard. That is a crumpled front end. And this could be interesting for O'Reilly, for insert coin, and for Ben. Fat bloke in the chat from last night's race, the Lamborghini looked the most painted of the cars that are in this race. Planted, sorry. I look like an eye from where I am. Planted the cars in the race. The rest of these were all on the edge, so anything can happen at any time. That's the interesting thing to notice, is they look planted, but they didn't look massively quick. Paul Williams was doing well up until he decided to try and take off. Ian Gray's trying to get onto the rear of Mike Matthews, so his Mike had a moment somewhere, but O'Reilly now coming under pressure as insert coin hops over the first chicane. That was a huge jump from the Honda. That surely had to damage the underside of the splitter.
Oh, it must have. If you were actually in that car, that would hurt your back as well, because you're strapped in so tightly.
Your coccyx bone would have took an absolute pounding.
I've broke that before on roller skating. I'm going to say this. It insert Anglo-Saxon word here. Hurts.
Insert coin now looking right on the back of O'Reilly, who's so far maintaining his advantage over the Honda, and you still see that Mustang just pull out a little bit on the straights. Short straights albeit, but it's still pulling out somewhat of an advantage. Ben, not a million miles away for these two. Ben will know that that's a podium right here because Piscina still yet to... I tell you what, Piscina might be pulling himself back into this race with how long he's going till he pits.
Yeah, possibly is, yeah, as Chris said, I believe I can fly.
Piscina's going to stay out still. Now, Ben's within a second now of insert coin, who's still right on the rear of O'Reilly, but O'Reilly not giving up here. And that's one thing I noticed last night as well. You had like Dean Wasocki, who had a terrible race, but yeah, he, you know, managed to stick to the end and get through it. As here comes insert coin and has a look, can't do anything there.
Very aggressive on that curb, and that's first chicane. Is coin. Beasley's round. Mike's gone. We're back within 5 seconds of Beasley, so
yeah, just
I'm
watching
bringing
this
Gray
fight
with him.
between 4th, 5th, and 6th. Insert coins now on the back of. Sorry, Ben's on the back of insert coin, but insert coin still on the back of that of O'Reilly. And O'Reilly just struggling for the moment here.
Gary's in the pits.
It should be interesting piece for step down. Obviously, let's hear from you all in the chat. The more of you in the chat, the better. As Gary Leach comes in for his pit stop. He will be P12 in this race. So at least Gary will score some points. But yeah, like we say, it's a small grid. Bit of a poor showing from the Pro Boys, but we hope to have a better grid for the finale next week. And these three are starting to put on a real good fight at the moment, aren't they?
Coins now having a look. Does O'Reilly see him?
But he does, but I feel that the grunt of that Mustang has pulled him through the corner, an absolute peach.
For more offline lessons over curbs here, that's in season 1 in the Ferrari.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. Just showing here, Phil, that with that grunt of the Mustang, he's just able to keep in front of his O'Reilly. Coin's got a great run now up the inside in towards the chicane, and O'Reilly leaves that one there. He just could use his grunt, not enough though at the end to lose out to insert coin. So insert coin moves net podium, we do believe, at this moment in time.
Net podiums. Piscina's still got a pit. Oh, I never used his Discord name then.
Zodiac.
I nearly said Zodiac.
Dan's not making any inroads at the minute on Jamal Clouden, is he, so far?
No. And it looks like the McLaren's got a bit more pace here. And plus Clouden's got the track experience of racing them GT4s.
Yeah, he has. He's got that track experience. So does Sky Schungelmeyer. And that of O'Reilly as well. The Mustang's power is crazy. Good move by Coin. Great move indeed. As Ben just cutting turn 1 a little bit there. Got his cornering a bit wrong through that first part of the lap. And these three still in a bit of a fight at the moment.
Whereas Piscina's now in the pits for that. Look quick over the line. That might be a stop-go.
Could be a stop-go penalty for Piscina. We didn't see it, but obviously you'd have been watching that one. So Jamal Clouden, we reckon he's going to be the net race leader. If Piscina did get a stop-go penalty, that will probably bring Travis King back into play. Where is the 81? Just about to unlap himself to come back onto that lead lap. So at the moment, this is going to possibly work in Travis King's favour, because if Piscina's in the pits now, King will gain on this lap and then King will be able to pass him if that was speeding in the pit lane. Ben's just lost a little bit over the 3/10, I reckon, here. Let's have a look at the gap. Yeah, lost a couple of tenths through sector 1 over that of O'Reilly at the moment.
Piscina's not gone green yet. He now has, and he's away.
He's too far down the pit lane for me to get in front of Clouden and Davis. But he's probably done enough to get on the podium.
Called it.
Or did do enough, but like you say, you have called it. And stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Pesina. And he was comfortably clear as well of Insert Coin and O'Reilly.
Yeah, he was, but I said that looked quick.
Yeah. So then, that is going to, you feel that is going to tumble him down the order quite significant. Let's take a look at what it would be.
Dan's back on the back of Clouden.
That's the first time in this race Dan's got this close to Clouden, so let's take a look at this one. I'm just going to try and load up the graphic. Time lost for a tyre change, which is 30 seconds. Around here you lose 65 seconds, you lose 74% of your lap around here.
Yeah, when Clouden crossed the line, it'd be the last lap. So Dan has just gone, it's hammer time, and he's going for it.
Wants to win, doesn't he? Dan always wants to win. He's a competitor, he's a fighter. And look at Pesina, he's only 2.8 off the back, so he'd have been fighting for a real good spot in this race. What a shame for Pesina, but this could give a podium to the Honda. Cranky Duckhead asking last night how many podiums the Honda has had. Well, it's about to get one tonight as Pesina goes straight into pit lane. Phil, you keep watching him, just in case.
He was on the brakes much earlier that time for the line.
Clouden starts the final lap of this race. He's in the lead of it, but he's got Dan Davis right up the rear wing of him. And he's going to want to make this one interesting indeed. It's going to be a fantastic night. See, good evening to Gary Clarbel. How's the elbow, Gary? Do you think we'll be able to see you for the last race of the season?
Please.
Yeah, please. Face off of this grid.
Did you have to do what the pad?
With me being under the weather, I may as well get the old Jammy boy, who's apparently, the second best commentator at SimPlay, even though he doesn't commentate on SimPlay at the moment. I have to get him down to take my place, since I'm not feeling too well. But Dan made a mistake through the first chicane there, Phil.
Yeah, I just jumped to that battle, and Esposito is hemorrhaging places now.
Well, he's 11th, and that's where he's going to finish in this race, as we're currently watching the race leader. Oh, no, he's 11th. 81's just past him. Oh, Sky is a lap down. So King was an extra lap down over Pesina. So yeah, no, so he will come out now. So King will stay P11. I thought King was on the same lap, but either way, Jamal Clouden is going to take another race win, and he's going to try his hardest to take this race to this championship to Dan Davis. It is going to be a P1 for Jamal Clouden. He's going to cross the line and take the race one win from Dan Davis in second place. Insert Coin in the Honda. Not been on the podium at all this season. He's going to come home to take a P3. O'Reilly P4. Ben in P5. What must Ben be needing to do for a podium this season? Richard Beasley comes across the line for P6. Mike Matthews 7th, Ian Gray 8th, and then we are just waiting on that off piece of Pesina. So Mike Matthews P7, Ian Gray 8th.
Sky just got past him, so I think Sky's moved up to...
No, I think Sky's a lap down. Oh no, yeah, 9 seconds off the back. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you are right there. I think Sky... Well, this will tell us through this second sector time. Sky has got past him, so Pesina's gone from being on the podium to now being behind Sky Schundelmeyer, and Pesina's got damage on his car as well. That's Gary Leach, who's going to finish a couple of laps down, not the 350th race that he'd have wanted to do. King came across the line for 11th place. And here we go then. To the line comes Sky Schundelmeyer. P9 for him, P10 for Pesina. We are going to be right back in with race 2 in just a few moments' time. Well, that was fucking boring.
Yeah, I know they start playing on the Switch. Actually, I'm never going to plug in the controller from the trains and run the trains back and forth.
Gap's down to 69 points, Clouden to Dan.
69? Nice. I need a whiz.
Yeah. Yeah, cheers, dude. Yeah, thanks.
No worries, bud.
Yeah.
Tell him Jammy's burn on Dan. Tell him about Jammy's burn. I'll leave you to it, lads.
See you in a bit.
I seriously think Mike's...
What's that?
What's that ticket from Mike all about?
Oh, right. Well, we'll soon know that fire.
Right. I'm going to run for a quick toilet break. I've got my headset on, so tell me if they can't, if it goes to quality.
Yep. They're in qualifying. Everyone must have been on ballots. And it's green means go! First one out of bits is Gary. Yep, Gary's the first one out of bits. Then... No, Dan is. Oh, hashtag Phil's blind. Ben. Dan's now about to start his flying lap. Christina clearly hasn't read Discord. So Dan Davis starts his flying lap, Ben's the car behind him, and Colin's just exit the pits. Have a stroke, the NHS were brilliant for me. Dan's now about to complete his first flying lap.
Don't really care, dude. 5, 4. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport. We left it a little longer in the break session, obviously just trying to still recover. I've just took a few more tablets, which should hopefully help towards the end of the broadcast. But it's a championship lead that has been cut short once again. Dan Davis has his gap down now to 69 points to Clouden, who pulled another 6 points out of Dan in this first race. And obviously, no drop scores as from tonight for these pro boys. That was as from last week, so no drop scores now for the rest of the season, so every point Clouden can pick over Dan, that is fantastic for his night. But Overtaker is now out of it, and SimPlay Racing can win the Constructors at the end of this evening. Greasy Bandits have gone up to third over Quantum Apex, with Gary Leach scoring just a handful of points. He can bring himself that bit closer. Gary and Albee, I don't think, in fact, no, they haven't moved up the standings. Gary's close to Eckholt and Harris now and could move up the standings momentarily. Travis King is still stationary in the pits and he's yet to go, but it's Dan Davis who's your current pole sitter at the moment, 2/10 clear of Sky Schundelmeyer. Mike Matthews a further 7/10 back. Then it's Pacina, Ian Gray 1.6 with Jamal Clouden in 6th place, yet to set a lap time. Richard Beasley just moves up into the top 3 with O'Reilly now coming to the end of his lap. And Pien, really, the race one brought us a little bit of drama, but nothing too major, but pretty much what you'd expect for 12 cars.
Yeah, it was a very relatively quiet for 12 cars. I just wish there was more. It's just so disappointing. As Pacino, I believe, has a qualifying ban, so he's...
Phil, we are currently watching O'Reilly. I need to step away for 2 seconds, so just keep your eyes on O'Reilly for me and talk us through this.
O'Reilly's now rounding turn 3, I believe. As he heads now towards the first chicane, which is vicious on the curbs if you go wide. He climbs up a hill and it drops down towards the second chicane, where 42 years ago Gilles Villeneuve lost his life before it was a chicane. So there's the morbid Phil fact of who's died at Zolder. That's why there's a chicane there now. Climbing up towards the hairpin. Turns in. He hasn't set a clean lap yet. And now this is where the horsepower of the Mustang comes in. As he heads towards the final chicane. Braking hard because it's 90 left. 90 right. Oh, I'm doing pace notes. Excellent. Hard on the throttle and across the line, and he stays in 10th, but he's got the time in now, 2.3 seconds. Off the pace set by now Jamal Clouden from Sky, Ben Dan. Ben's yet to set a lap, as is Travis King. Gary's currently in P8, but I'm flicking cameras and you can't see that. Oh, inevitable. As Larry crosses the line, any improvement by Gary Leach? No. Next person to the line is the 24 Sky Schundelmeyer.
Okay, I'm back. Apologies.
No improvement, Sky.
He's only on 10th. That's not the lap time we'd have expected to see from O'Reilly. Clouden's gone quickest overall. Sky now quicker than Dan as well. Here comes Ben to the final corner. And now to the start line. What can Ben do? Put it on the top 5? Yeah, he can. Top 4. That's a fantastic lap time. Only Travis King yet to do a lap. Mike Matthews coming towards the line now. Is this going to be any improvement for him? No, it's not. Richard Beasley then the next car on a lap.
Car 17 is dots blue, light blue, but we don't believe that anymore, do we? Because it's often wrong.
Yeah, I think it is often wrong. No improvement, though, so it may have been invalid. O'Reilly's now coming to the line as well, so let's going to see what O'Reilly can do. Will he improve? No improvement for him. Dan Davison, who needs 4/10 of a second, finds a little bit, goes ahead of Schundelmeyer, but not yet ahead of Clouden. And Pierre, this could be a lap time where this could be a qualifying session where Clouden could really take another point off of Dan and just get that one step closer again.
Yeah, put the cap to 68 point gap.
Intec Coin moves up to P5. Yeah, it would be a 68 point gap. Here comes Ian Gray. This is going to be an interesting one, see what Ian Gray can do. No improvement there, probably an outlap. next car is out of Clouden. So what can Clouden do in this session? Can he get into that 27 mark?
Can he? What were Pro-Ams doing yesterday?
I can't honestly remember. I think Max was in the 28s. But I can't honestly remember. Clouden, no improvement. 140, that's Ben. Oh, improves to P2!
Ben within two...
Within, 89 thousandths of a second. So Ben really putting the cat amongst the pigeons as well. And this is what Clouden needs. He needs cars between himself and Dan.
Yeah, he needs Sky to find some time again, and maybe Coin.
Maybe Piscina, you know. What can O'Reilly do? He had pace in the practice session, was pretty nifty in that first race.
As he's
comes to the line now. And O'Reilly goes within 9/10 of the top 8 within a second of each other. Who's next? It's 81 of Travis King. Currently 3 seconds off the back.
Oh, well, this run's now done for O'Reilly. He's now facing towards me. Oh, yeah.
His King only fired 3/10 of a second. So,
yeah. Who's coming to the line now? That's Gray. As I try to find his grey road-coloured McLaren. He improves, but he's not. He's had 0.02 of a second off Gary.
Dan Davis on and out. That 131. That is Gary Leach.
That Porsche makes such a nice roaring noise as it powers down the straight. The next car on the lap is...
It's Travis King, the 81.
For Zolder Racing, even though it's not on the server as Zolder, but he races for Zolder, don't he?
Yeah, I don't think that's been added. That'll be added though for next time, I assume. But yeah, apologies due to the lack of cars. Obviously, like we said, it is the summer holidays here in the United Kingdom, you know, and across the world. It's people away on their holidays. Yeah, just a shame, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah, it is. It's just I've had a few races in the comms box trying to struggle what to talk about. I've already mentioned who's died around here. Around Zolder.
No, you've never mentioned that. Not like you.
No, you know, the second chicane. Wasn't the chicane?
Apologies, Mick. If you want to be a part of SimPlay Motorsport, make sure you check out the Discord, buddy. Do your hot stints and everything. Obviously, we can't get you in for the last race of the season. We don't allow drivers in for the last 3 races, even if it is a short grid. Next week, if there's only 12 cars, do I have to, you know, Phil, do it on your own, and I have to come back out of the BMW to end the season?
No, I want to turn up.
You know the worst thing is, do you know if I come back out and did a couple of races, I'd end up finishing in the top 20 in the championship because people have just missed so many races this year. Bad that, innit? You know, we had 38 drivers sign up for this season. In the Pro, 2 never started. We lost Ireland after week 1. Fernie banned the other week. GT Jimbo went early. I had to go early because of commentary. Wesley Kuiper went early. Nikita's not long gone. Alex went early. But then you've had others like Burton and Flem gone, Sauber gone, Mitch Buchanan, you know, wheel issues, Clarbel elbow injury. So, you know, just horrible, isn't it? Dan Davis, by the way, has got up to 2nd place, and has only gone 1,000th of a second quicker than that of Ben. So heck of a lap time there as King moves out of the way. 2 minutes 47 left. Let's hear some questions in the chat. What are you looking forward to next season? What tracks would you like to see on the calendar next season? Let's talk about that, Phil, because we have a 5-week break, and for the drivers, or for the way the track selection's going to work this year is the admin. So myself, John Gooday, Dan Davis and Mike Matthews, they all get a track selection. Phil, you get one being the Patreon. What, we're not going to give away. Yeah, we're not going to give away what we have selected, because I'll tell you off air, Phil. But tracks have been selected. Mine isn't too. You know, you probably know what mine is without saying anything. You probably know what Mike's is. Dan's, I reckon you'd guess. Hypertext, I didn't expect that from him, but you know. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a vote out tomorrow or tonight. The drivers or the community in the Discord will be able to pick one. The track with the highest votes gets one. And then after that, it is the lovely wheel of names.
And unfortunately, one track I know a lot of them will vote for, and I don't think it's good for a season race. Because 20 minutes around there will be 2 laps, if you're lucky.
Yeah. Sparking Gamer, don't forget about last night. Phil was mental. I'll do some commentary. I'm better at that than racing. I had to work, so gutted. Sparking Gamer, I can't remember which one you are on the Discord. DM me on the Discord, buddy, if you're interested in doing some commentating. That'd be absolutely fantastic. We're always looking for commentators. Super Trofeo mini-series. The problem with these mini-series that we've tried to do is we don't get enough sign-ups, so we could look at doing something. We'll have to wait and see. Possibly going to look at the Nations Cup. And good evening, Boyo. That is for Darren Yo, who, so I found out, Phil, Cardiff City fan. No, I'm winding him up. Be great to see Daz back out on the circuit, though. How good would it be? How good would it be to have Darren Yo back out there on track?
Yeah, well, my former teammate, Beasley's gone off where Ferrari went off before, 42 years ago. Yeah.
You've said it once, we don't need to carry it on. They've been told.
Yes, but Daz has only just got in the chat.
Yes, fair point. Daz, where have you been? Daz will remember him taking off around this circuit, I assume.
Yeah,
drivers starting their last lap of qualifying, although insert coins done. This is probably what the hour-long race is going to be, is us two waffling for the night as O'Reilly moves up into 7th place. Mike Matthews will be the first man to finish.
Any improvement by Mike?
Currently just coming through the hairpin towards the final chicane.
Daz is just looked hard of City, how dare you?
Yeah, I got confused, Daz. You know, with Swansea playing in blue and Cardiff playing in white. Yeah, apologies. Mike Matthews to the line. What's he going to do? He comes across. It does improve, goes P5. Good lap. Clouden was invalidated on his last run, so will Dan Davis take that point and extend the gap back up to 70? He doesn't need much, Phil, does he?
No, that's a gnat's nut, I reckon, that time gap between them.
Well, he's going to come to the line, comes across the racing line now. What's he going to set as he comes to the line? It is not one of them magical Dan Davis laps that we can all sing and shout about. Gary, the slowest qualifier.
My hearing thanks you.
Can we just say Gary's the slowest qualifier? It's not often you see Gary down that bottom end of a grid order, but here comes Travis King to the line. Any improvement? No, not this time around. The 140, that's Ben. If Ben found 0.02 of a second, what could this do to put Ben on pole position? Finds nothing.
And now the final car is O'Reilly.
Imagine 0.7 of a second being found for O'Reilly here. Pop him on pole. Let's see. Puts him 4th. I tell you what, that wasn't far away. Kieran O'Reilly, P4 on the grid. Fair play, my friend. But Dan Davis, Jamal Crowden, front row of the grid. This is the championship fight that we wanted to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to go to Valencia, isn't it? At least for Pro. Pro-Am's wrapped up. Max is now a Pro-Am champion on ATC. Yeah,
Max and BSP have won. SimPlay can and more than likely will, with no Harris tonight, win this evening, the Constructors, which means it will just be the GT4s and then that of the Pro Championship left to sort out. But good luck there from Cloud and Ben and Dan. That is pretty close. And O'Reilly at the very end, that was phenomenal.
Yeah, as the best front engine car on the grid with O'Reilly.
Just inputting the qualifying result.
There isn't much track action. What are we going to waffle about for an hour?
Plenty of things. It was the touring cars last weekend at Knockhill. Some of us had the pleasure of being there. Plenty of things we can talk about, Phil.
Yeah, I'm not going to waffle on what I normally waffle on about.
And Gray ain't slow. 10 Gary says he won't finish last, the lad. No? Gary, sorry, yes, I apologize. My eyesight's hurting, my eyes are stinging a little bit. Still under the weather. Pretty good qualifying position now. Let's get P1. That'll be Tracy cheering on for Sky Schundelmeyer. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this race. I think this is going to be a fantastic one.
fantastic one. Touch wood. Well, I've got my baseboard, that's wood. That we have a fairly clean one. 12 cars. Come on, it can't be that hard.
Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't think so, would you? Not many tickets gone in at all this week, to be fair.
No.
Obviously, a couple of Pro-Am ones have just popped up tonight, which can still happen due to the fact that
It's not midnight yet.
their time limit for the tickets is midnight.
Jamie's just said Daddy's still off asleep from the weekend.
Probably is. He's still probably burning from the weekend. He nodded off about 6 times in that van. I don't know about after you've left mine, Jamie, but he had plenty of naps on the way home, let's say the least. Big thanks to Jamie Brazier for giving up the middle row seat for my bag. Thank you very much, Jamie. Ben wants a podium, he said. He needs to prove he's good enough to be in Pro. Do you know what, Chris? I don't think Ben needs a podium to prove he's good enough to be in Pro. I think Ben has cemented his status in Pro already. I look for... Ben is one, I tell you now, and obviously the sign-ups will go out within the next couple of weeks. Ben is a driver. I'm really... With Sky Schundelmeyer as well, 2 youngsters possibly going to be teaming together in the BSP team next year. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Ben and Sky can do next year as a possible duo.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what car they pick with the BOP as well, because McLaren hit hard with quite a few tracks.
Most tracks, it's a bit hard. Look, hey, I think this could be an interesting one to see. Let's keep an eye on what happens as they are on the formation lap.
We all know what car on this. I kind of say, can I scrap the Jag and me and Betty use the Bentley instead?
No, sadly.
Because the Jag's just hopelessly slow, especially when it's got a hopelessly slow driver in it. Hello, me.
I think Ben's done fantastic. And we have to thank Kelly Davis, the owner of Audio Sport. If you want to check out what Audio Sport and Design Manchester do as our sponsors, the links are in the description. Kelly was the one who spoke with Chris at Thruxton Race Circuit and inquired the services of Ben for the championship, and what an acquisition that has been for SimPlay. BSP will technically have 4 drivers in Pro, but they're probably going to have to be called BSP Racing 1 and BSP Racing 2, so that their team points will be scored as over 2 separate teams, and the drivers will have to announce which team they are with. And they'll possibly as well just have to run slightly different liveries. Obviously match your teammate with a different trim, but not have the same as the other 2 cars as well, so that we don't get confused as to who is who.
Yeah, as a final chicane, ready to go.
Sky and Ben for a podium, says Max Mulder. Phil, who's going to win this race?
Oh, who do I put the curse of the commentator on? Because it's time.
Well, it's green and go. We'll have to get your opinions in a moment. It's green and go here as O'Reilly is going to try and look around the outside of Ben, coming in towards turn 1. Dan as well having a little nibble around the outside of Clouden, but thinks better of that one already. And Clouden already starts to defend back to Ben and O'Reilly. There is Schundelmeyer, who's looking to try and keep ahead of Mike Matthews through these first couple of corners. Gary Leach has already got past Travis King early doors of this race. This is absolutely fantastic to see that all these cars are through turns 1 and 2 pretty cleanly at the moment, as there is Clouden with Dan, and is Clouden got a bit of a poor run out the third corner, because Dan's trying to cut to the outside line down towards the first chicane. I imagine Dan's going to hit on the brakes earlier. He does, and Clouden still leads, but what Clouden needs is Ben to get past Dan.
Yeah,
Mike and Tibbs are off.
Yeah, coming through the turn 2.
Yeah, Tibbs has got huge damage as well, can I just say. Look at the front of that McLaren.
Yeah, and through turn 2, Pacino went all manners of sideways, and the car corrected, and he hit the side of Beasley. Poor Beasley just does not have any luck.
Yeah, he's like S2M, isn't he? S2M has no luck, Beasley has no luck, but Clouden still leads from Dan, from Ben. O'Reilly, slim P4 at the moment. Then it is insert calling with Beasley on the back of him as they all come towards the final chicane. There is insert Coyne and Beasley. There's Ian Gray with Gary, then Pacina. Then it is Travis King. And there's Sky Schundelmeyer with his damaged McLaren. He's going to keep going. Ben has hit Dan then. And Dan is off the circuit. Ben is sat waiting patiently. And the Thruxton rivals come together at the final chicane. And Ben lets Dan go. But Dan's now got to go hell for leather, PN, because he's so far behind everybody else. And this is exactly what Clouden needs. This is exactly what Clouden needs.
It is, isn't it? Keeps that slim championship hope alive.
Good evening to Paul in the chat. Not sure how Mike Matthews has been able to type that, but he's apologised to Tibbs in the chat. Evening, Paul Williams, who was so close to being on for a good result last night.
And then he found out Lamborghinis can fly.
Jeez, I've seen that accent as well. Dan said,
So have I.
you know, and I've seen Paul Williams' clips. That was a big one. That was a big one, but it's Clouden from O'Reilly from Insert Coin looking for a double podium. He's got Beasley on the back of him. Ian Gray's up to P5. And a fantastic scrap at the moment with Gary Leach and Pacina in this Ford Mustang as they come through towards a hairpin. Now Insert Coin, full defence. And Beasley can't get through. Gary Leach now just trying to get on the back of Gray a little more.
Yeah, no, Clouden's leaving from O'Reilly. Gary's not last. You're right there.
Yeah, Gary's not last. He's got past King, he's got past Pacina, then Mike and Tibbs and Dan and Ben are there coming together. Now it's going to be, Phil, how quick can Dan catch him and how quick can Dan get past him as Daz Automatics, the same old Zolder. Daz, we love you, we need you back on the grid, mate. You'd be a fantastic addition to the Pro Series next year, or possibly to the Pro-Am Series next year. I think that'd be a brilliant thing to see Daz back on the circuit. I haven't seen Daz since the Imola endurance race.
Maybe you see him at Spa.
Yeah, I think we're going to next see him at Spa in that endurance race as well, which will probably be the next competitive race, depending on when certain events are in the off-season. Insert Coin heavily defending from Richard Beasley at the moment. Two leaders pretty comfortable out front. As Gary and that of Gray both over the chicane. And how's Dan's progression here? He's gaining on the back of Mike. Yeah, he's not a million miles away, is he?
No, I think Mike's...
Oh, Pacina's got Gary. So Pacina's got Gary going into that second chicane. So that is beautiful to see from the Ford Mustang driver.
Yeah, Ben's got fastest lap of the race, though.
Well, he's got the pace. Clouden's probably just taking it a little bit easier and keeping check of his tyres.
Yeah, because...
Doesn't need to push and make these mistakes at the moment, does he? Here comes Travis King. Now look in and gets past Gary Leach. Has Gary got another wheel problem here?
Maybe not throttle down.
Well, either way,
King made a mistake.
Yeah, he's made the mistake. And Gary's got back through. I'd say flying through, but not really at the moment. So he's got work to do to get on the back. Richard Beasley still on the rear of Insert Coin. And O'Reilly's within 1.7 of that of Clouden. That's it, Chris. Clean air.
It won't be long now, I reckon, before Dan's in front of Mike already.
Yeah, that could also be the old... Come on, Mike, move. I need the
Fernando is faster than you.
Yeah, that's the call. King's got back ahead of Gary down a straight. So I'm not sure what's happened to Gary here, but he's lost all pace. And he's now going to come under pressure from Sky Schundelmeyer.
Is his throttle not working?
Well, is his throttle not working? Or is he trying to help Dan out? Obviously, they're in a party together. Is Gary thinking of helping Dan out? Gary's not in a fight, really. He just looks a little all over the place. He's now got Schundelmeyer, who's got huge damage. Sky's still sticking out there, sticking with it.
Well, you've got to try to drive around to block the damage before the pit window opens.
Schundelmeyer on the back of Gary. I'm wondering if Gary's struggling with something here.
Yeah, as O'Reilly's now the gap down to the lead by a teeny bit. And it went back up again. Beasley's probably going to get bored of the back end of Coin's Honda. Ben's catching Mike now as well. Clouden's now got fastest lap.
Yeah, Jamal just picking up that pace. Has he?
No,
Ben's got it. So Ben's took it back off him. So Ben's took fastest lap back off Ben. Pacina's now on the back of Gray. Richard Beasley's just lost a bit of pace here. Over Insert Coin. maybe just a stage of the race where the Honda's going to come better. Pacina looking up the inside into the first chicane. No, as Beasley's a little wide. Pacina couldn't get the job done there. Gary's now coming back on Travis King. Dan's offered some after some. There's Welchie and Clive. They might need it as well. Jeez, yeah.
Can we get Jamie in the comms box? He can tell you more facts about Zolder than I can.
Oh, here comes Pacina on the back of Ian Gray at the moment. Sky Schundelmeyer back within 4/10 of Gary Leach. So, I'm not quite sure what's happening with Gary here. At one stage, he looks like he's leaving Sky Schundelmeyer and gaining on the back of the others. And at the next moment, he's, off the back of King and back within Sky's reach. Dan Davis is within 1.1 of Sky Schundelmeyer. You see that big damage to Schundelmeyer's car.
Yeah. As Cloudon's opened the gap out again. He's like, that's close enough, O'Reilly.
Yeah. Well, Pacina's tried to get it close. Oh, no, you won't do it like that. You won't do it on the gravel. So let's drop back down to Schundelmeyer. Gary's on the gravel and he gets a wallop up the rear from Schundelmeyer.
More damage for Schundelmeyer's car as well, that would be, unfortunately.
And now Gary's got Dan going around the outside of him, just in the background. Dan Davis and Gary Leach. Dan Davis gets the move done. Yes, he does now. So Dan gains another place. You know he's going to gain over Sky because Tibbs has got too much damage. He's going to have to repair that in the pit stops. So you know that Dan's going to get through there.
And Tibbs' car will probably be bouncing up and down as well. And
yeah. Tell you what, Ben's done well to get back onto the rear of this pack. Not a million miles behind Dan Davis. He's 1.2 off the back of Mike Matthews is Ben at the moment. I hate the cameraman at this circuit. With a
could
passion.
Be worse. It could be some of the cameramen we had on Project Cars 2.
Project Cars 2, where they just lose you completely, yeah. Jeez.
If we had like the broadcast compatibilities of Project Cars 2, the cameras and the graphics of Gran Turismo, and the gameplay of this,
exactly,
we've got a good game.
You 100% you have. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, the bell to be notified when we are live, and hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel out. We need 10 more subscribers to get to 250 before the end of Pro next Thursday, in which we hope to have a much fuller grid for you out there, as well as Pro-Am and as well as GT4. It's the end of the season for all three. We can get onboard cameras, but it's a little difficult on this game. I will show it you.
Because you've got to go to the driving and select the car, and Gary's lost it on the curb again. And then it won't be long before Mike gets past Gary.
Yeah, this is. Well, I'm just on the onboard camera of Ben. I thought we'd go on that to show you the onboard camera. You're seeing Mike go side by side with Gary Leach in towards a first chicane. Ben late on the brakes, has to take to the gravel.
I believe he was locked up. I'm sure I saw tyre smoke.
I think he was locked up as well. Ben off the road.
As inexperienced and not driving a real car.
Indeed, Sparking Gamer. Indeed. There's Ian Gray having a good race in this second one, isn't he, Ian Gray? So far defending from Pacina.
Yeah, he's just putting the car where he needs to be to stop that Mustang's grunt eating him.
Dan Davis on the back of Travis King. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on.
No.
Going to be an interesting one for sure to see. Gary's still within a couple of tenths of Mike, but he's possibly got a bit of damage on that car. Back to the Ian Gray fight though. Out front at the moment.
Gap's coming down a little bit for the lead again.
Yeah, day late, dollar short, as Jamie said. Gap has come down for the lead. That's possibly Cloudon just taking a little steadier at this moment in time.
But Cloudon could just be controlling the gap.
Yeah, it probably is just that. You know, it probably is just Cloudon controlling that gap. As well, knowing that Dan is down that order, you know, maintaining that pace now. All right, there's still 48 minutes left to go. Where will Dan be at the end of that 48 minutes? That's the biggest one, you know, to wait and find out. But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And we've got the pit window opening in about 11 minutes time as well.
Just under, yeah.
So, and King's only 5 seconds behind Pacina, so, and Dan's right behind King. So it's all doable, isn't it?
It's very doable at the minute. Tracy, apologies, I haven't put a poll out. Feeling really under the weather today. So I did the one in race 1. I completely forgot about closing it. My eyes are hurting a little bit, so I'm just having to start to squint to watch the race in action. And yeah, exactly, Chris. At least he doesn't rage quit. Indeed.
No, you don't want to rage at 14. It's not healthy.
It just proves keep going to the end. Travis King's coming under pressure from Dan Davis. Now, will Travis, part of the Vorta Racing team, which also runs with Greasy Bandits, will he help Clouden out a little bit? Well, Dan Davis gets up the inside. Lovely move. Great respect given by Travis King as well there. Travis knowing that Dan's probably not his fight for.
No, well, drive with your head, isn't it? It's like, I can beat, not with your heart thinking you can beat him all the time. But it's like, you know what? You're faster than me. I know you're faster than me. Just go. And now King's on the grass.
Now Dan's got 5 or so seconds to gain on the back of Pacina and Gray, where Gray is doing a terrific job of keeping Pacina there.
Yeah, you think the grunt of that. And look how much earlier Pacina's got a break compared to Gray as well. So he doesn't
wallop him up the rear.
Give him a love tap. This is the closest battle on the track between Gray and Pacina, but Dan's already gained nearly a second in the sector.
Yeah, Dan's absolutely flying. McLaren looks rather awkward around here, as it did last night. Max Mulder, it's not very suited to Zolder. I thought that on comms with Dan last night, and I do find it here. Look at Ian Gray, doesn't look massively stable. Clouden has made it look good. Gray didn't get the best of exits like that final chicane. Here comes Pacina. He's going to have that inside line over Ian Gray. Up the inside goes Pacina. The Ford goes through.
And Gray was like, yep, you've got the line. Here's the space.
Yeah, here's the space. Matt Matthews is... Sorry, Phil.
Let me chase you now.
Well, Gray did well at holding Pacina up. How well can he do at keeping Dan behind him? Fat bloke, or Sam saying in the chat that Dan will make the podium. Let's wait and see. I'd not put it past Dan to make the podium. But let's wait and see what happens. Mike Matthews now with an 8/10 of Schundelmeyer, who himself is gaining on Travis King as well. So a lovely little quartet, because Gary Leach isn't far in the background. Neither is Ben. And did Dan Davis just drop a wheel into that gravel trap there? I didn't see any dust kick up, so I don't think so.
Ben must have 50p pencils of tyres after that lock.
I reckon Ben's changing them at the stop. I reckon that's for sure. Yeah.
They must be 50. They must be 50p's by now. Because once you find a flat spot your tyres, you keep locking on the same spot over and over and over again. Jamie, I better not make any predictions after Sunday. Why? Who did he predict was going to win the touring car races on Sunday?
Oh, right. So you're going to absolutely love this. Race 1. Bearing in mind, Tingham qualified about 15th. Jamie, who did Jamie said was going to win race 1? I can't remember, right? Thank you very much, Tracy. Jamie in race 1 says Tom Ingram will win race 2. Tom Ingram then doesn't finish the first race of the day. So already Tom Ingram's on the back foot. Well done, Jamie Brazier. But everyone he tried to go for, he got wrong. Chris in the chat, Ben couldn't find a good setup, complained all day about the track, even had to send Sky his setup. So I agree, McLaren doesn't look comfortable here. Yeah, I don't think it's looked comfortable at all this entire week as the McLaren, as Tibbs still got Mike coming for him. Gary is now last. Ben has got past him. So the Porsche also doesn't look great.
No. He's also got rear diffuser damage for when he got walloped from behind.
He said Turk 2 was going to win race 1. We got Turkington. I don't think we did it for race 3. I think we thought we'd leave all the drivers alone for race 3.
Oh, well, but what a battle between Huffy and England for race 3.
Oh, race 3, fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, Ben getting slidey out of the chicane. It's coming for Ben. It is coming for Ben. I tell you what, he's going to be on the podium next season for sure.
Another podium. He got his first podium way back at Brands. So this is a similar sort of circuit really to Brands, isn't it? If you think about it. Old style.
Oh, in terms of the style of circuit, yeah, but not in terms of the way the corners are.
And probably only about 40 miles away from Brands Hatch across the North Sea as well.
Jim Brazier voted for Josh Cook as driver of the day, and then he crashed out of race lead. There was a driver of the day for the Jim Clark things that was on.
You mean he got crashed into on race 3 by
Yeah, by an optimistic Jake Hill. That was my opinion of
Yeah.
it. And if you did watch the touring cars on Sunday on ITV4, you may have seen a Jamie Brazier, a Keegan Walsh, a Gary Leach and a certain Matthew Duffin. We was all there on the cameras by the Jim Clark cars, sporting the laser tools top as Ben's looking up the inside of Mike Matthews in towards turn 3, and that is a lovely bit of a tap. Bit of a tap there, yeah. I'm not sure on who, but I thank your mama for the carrots either way from Ben. Only the BMW was any good. The GT4's handled the track much better. 100% agree. We're going to the British Motorsport show on Saturday. They've got a sim competition, so I'm sure he'll win that again. Where's that at, Chris? Hopefully you have a good time. Thruxton was brilliant. If you was at Thruxton, I can't believe we didn't bump into each other, because me and Dan Davis and Joe Bates was there, and a previous driver, D Biggs. Kelly Davis was also there. Cleanest driver, D Biggs. One of the best. Carried down to multiple Constructors' Championships as Gary Leach is gaining on the back of Mike Matthews. When does the Formula 1 make a return? Next week? This week?
Next week, I think,
Next
or
week.
weekend after.
Zandvoort, isn't it? We had to
be up to date Zandvoort with the banking.
Holland. Let's have a look. Calendar. Yeah, next week. So bank holiday weekend. Also the same weekend as the Donington British Touring Car, so nobody's going to care.
And
it's in Farnborough. There we go. Well, hopefully you enjoy your weekend, Chris.
And the ultimate 24-hour race of 2 CVs at Snetterton.
296 can smash the curbs with a metal setup, straight line the first game. Richie Michelle looked really good, didn't he, last night? Looked really good.
He's improved so much.
One of the drivers in Pro-Am that's most improved for me. Dan's now on the back of Ian Gray. Oh God, Jamie, yeah, exactly. There we go. Dan Rowbottom's a friend of Chris's. That's why we got the tickets. I think I remember you saying to Kelly down at Thruxton, we'll have a cracking weekend, Chris. And if anybody's at Donington Park, well, I might be there. Jamie Brazier is going to be there. Don't hesitate to drop us a message on Discord if you're there, as Ian Gray goes a little wide at the hairpin. Dan not able to capitalise and come through at the moment. And then Dan's got about a 2.73 second gap back to Pacino, as Dan's going to have a look into the final chicane here. Thinks better of it, and Gray just messes up his first part. Plato's the second part, which just compromises Dan's run out of it.
Yeah, it does. Pacino's not really pulled away rapidly from Gray. 3.5 seconds up the road. Dan's having a look down the inside of the turn 1.
Yeah, good move.
Got him.
Good move from Dan. Absolutely fantastic move from him.
Well, good recovery by Dan so far, and the pit window opens in 1.5 minutes, roughly.
Yeah, 1.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So going to be an interesting pit window to see who comes in where and does what.
Who's got flat spot tyres and want to get rid of them, and who's got damage and want to get rid of that.
Yeah. That's the biggest one. So here comes Dan Davis, now moving up to P6. He's got a couple of seconds into Pacino. Ben's got past Mike as well. Not again, says. That's why Chris is saying no, not again. Ben's been off big time and has got huge damage.
Yeah, the front end of that McLaren's looking very, very sad, isn't it?
I'm surprised Mike and Gary haven't caught Tibbs yet, because Tibbs has got big damage as well. But Gary's putting the pressure on Mike Matthews, so come on, Gary Leach. Was my teammate at the start of this season. Honestly, it is Ben Racing. Even though Chris, get yourself signed up. That'll be one for Pro-Am.
Lads
Chris,
and dads.
Yeah, lads and dads. Chris in the Pro-Am on Ben's console on a Wednesday night. Ben on a Thursday. There we go. Clouden has done the fastest lap. Thank you, Fat Bloke. Or Sam. And Gary trying to put the pressure on that of Mike Matthews. Your running order, Jamal Clouden from Kieran O'Reilly, P2. Insert coin is P3. He's dropped Richard Beasley. Then it is Pacino who's being chased down by Dan, although that gap Dan to Pacino is extended a little bit. Ian Gray from Travis King, Sky Sundelmeyer, Mike Matthews, Gary Leach, and then Ben. Oh no, Ben, do one more lap.
It might be undrivable.
Oh, that is a shame for Ben.
It might be. Yeah, look at that. I'm amazed if the light's still working.
Well, that's going to be a double pit stop for Ben. That is a shame. I'd take the fuel off, take the tyre change off, and just do the damage right now.
Yeah, and then come round again and pit properly.
What is going off for the cameras here?
Whoever the cameramen are now been sacked.
Nope, I think I was catching my R2 button, which was changing camera apparently. So there we go.
Yeah, but Coin's now in sort of a no man's land now.
Yeah, massively. He's nowhere near O'Reilly, but he's dropped out of Richard Beasley. Dan's still 4.5 behind Pacina as well.
Dan straight in.
I'm not surprised. I like that from Dan. I think we criticised Dan last week and it paid off better in the end than what we thought it would, the overcut. But
you
also,
actually see the limiter on.
King is in, Schungelmeyer's in, Mike is in, Gary's in. The wall.
Gary's in the wall.
Well, I'm glad we caught that on stream. Well done, Gary Leach. Well done, Gary Leach. Caught on stream. That was fantastic. I can only assume Mike is in stitches right now on his stream. That is absolutely fantastic. That is... If we did a blooper reel at the end of the season, that would make it.
Oh, I think we should one year do a blooper reel of the end of the season of all the we might need to have a poster after 10 PM though, because we might have to put the swears in it.
Yeah. So Ben has left the pits, probably did just do the damage. He's on his way out now, but he's going to have to pit again. That's his race pretty much over. A lap down out front. But still, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. Cloud and O'Reilly and insert coin keep going. What about Beasley?
Keeps going. Cameraman. Oh, where's Gray? Well done.
Pacina comes through. Here comes Ian Gray. Stays out as well. Dan and Travis King are done. Now, interesting.
Dan's at the moment a lap behind.
He is. He has been lapped by Clouden. So for Dan to get past Clouden, he's got to make sure that he can pull away. And now that's going to be the problem for Dan. Is he going to want to fear in the race leaders race? Because if anything was to happen between Dan and Clouden, Dan being the lapped car, you, depending on what happens, would probably be put at blame.
Yeah.
You have to feel as well, by the way, can we just say forward, if Clouden pulls away here, because what you've got to think is, as long as insert coin keeps, O'Reilly keeps going, if O'Reilly gives Dan the blue flags, Dan has 3 corners to move out the way.
Yeah, he does.
So, if O'Reilly keeps going, this could really play into Clouden's hands here, and if Clouden starts to pull away from Dan, well, that's just going to show you the superior pace of Clouden over Dan. And if O'Reilly can give Dan the blue flags, that is going to cause Dan a headache.
Oh, it would. The cameraman on the hairpin's awful.
Yeah, look at the track map. If they're halfway towards the hairpin, don't bother changing. I figured that one out last night. Probably should have gave you the heads up on that one before we started today. But either way, if you want to see some more racing action, GT4s will be back with Dan Davis live next week. Pacina's got to get down to Beasley, I've just noticed, on Tuesday. 8 PM GMT +1 for the finale of GT4s. Tibbs, Schundelmeier versus myself versus Clouden. Battling it out 2 20-minute races with ballast for the championship there. Wednesday night, the finale of Pro-Am. Max Mulder, who's in the chat. Fantastic championship win for him and his teammates in the BSP racing team. That is wrapped up and done. So Pro-Am playing for Pride for other places in that one. And then join me and Phil back live 8 PM GMT +1 next Thursday for the finale of Pro, where the championship will go down to the wire. And I'm just jumping on O'Reilly here. Clouden is pulling away from Dan at the moment.
He is, and O'Reilly's catching him, and Dan will be getting blue flags.
Well, let's see if we can see any of the marshals waving them. There's no marshals post at the moment. No, so O'Reilly's not close enough yet to be receiving the blue flags. Or for Dan to receive the blue flag, should I say. Yeah. So I'm saying the undercut was great, but the tyres were struggling at the end. Yeah, someone went early for tyres last night. Damage, of course. He's done. Who's done? No, Ben's not done. Ben's not done. Still points.
Oh, Ben's gone off again. He's got damage again.
He's still got a pit. Clouden should be backing down.
It'll be a retirement, and it'll be a quali ban next week. He'll be rage quits. Tell him to keep going, Chris. Beasley's in.
So Richard Beasley into the pit. Let's go back on Dan Davis a second. Still no blue flags from them. There's one. Right, so that is one blue flag. So it is 3 corners. There's the first blue flag. That is, you can't count the chicane as 2 because Dan isn't going to move in the middle of the chicane. So that's 1 set of corners done.
There's only 1 line for that chicane.
Yeah. Next
there's another one.
Yeah, there's the next 2 that's 2 corners now done. Have the blue flags just gone away? No,
there's one then. That's 3.
So that is technically 3 corners of blue flags for Dan Davis. If O'Reilly puts this in, then Dan Davis could...
He's moved over.
He has moved over. He has moved over. And how much is that going to hurt Dan Davis?
Yeah, because now he's got to be in all that dirty air thrown off from the back end of that Mustang.
From the back end of the Mustang. You know, insert coin is nowhere near behind. So for O'Reilly at the minute, for Dan at the minute, Dan's in a good place where he can just follow O'Reilly, but hopefully not get lost up in that dirty air. Who's behind Dan? It's King. He's at the final chicane. Mike's 8 seconds behind him. Then it's Sky. Then it's Gary. Ben just needs to get his head now. He's got to do his mandatory stop, but Pacina's now in. What will Gray do? Gray's in as well. So where's Beasley? Beasley's well in front of... I say well in front of Dan. He's up the road. He's up the road.
He's up the road.
It is, you're right, Chris. Chris is 100% right. Hard to find a comfortable place to move over because... Oh, Dan! Held on to it well.
And now Beasley will be starting to get blue flags because Cloudon's right on him as well.
Yeah, just seen one of the marshals in the foreground. Give Beasley them blue flags. And this is now what Dan needs. Dan needs Beasley to be for Dan to overtake. Beasley's in the wall.
Beasley put 2 wheels on the grass and lost it. Oh, it's
well, that gifts Dan the place. That really does gift Dan a position there.
He just has no luck, does he?
He has no luck now. No, he has no luck. But that is not what Cloudon wants. That is exactly what Dan Davis wants. Pacina is exiting the pit lane. Insert Coin is done. Pacina is done. Dan's not going to get past them 2. In fact, Coin's back on the circuit. Pacina is now out. But Pacina now jumps Beasley as well.
Pacina saw Cloudon coming around and waited.
Yeah, that's probably a wise choice. Pit window ends in 7 minutes. We're halfway through the race.
Wonder if Dan doesn't take tyres.
That's a shout. That's a shout, but I don't see why he'd be losing over O'Reilly. Dan was quicker than O'Reilly. I don't see why he'd be losing time over him. Dan has stayed ahead of Ian Gray. So Dan is currently 5th place because Cloudon and O'Reilly, while they're ahead of Dan, will not be jumped by Dan because you don't lose over a full lap.
No.
So Dan is in a fight with Pacina, who he's 3 seconds behind for 4th. And Insert Coin for potentially 3rd place. I think Insert Coin is too far up the road. Beasley is in. Not surprised with that one.
I don't think O'Reilly's running hardly any traction control at all. That Mustang is just on the curves. It's just, yeah.
This is Dan's nightmare though at the moment, isn't it? To try and get past here. Richard Beasley with the damage. Cloudon's now going to call in a pit stop. And what does Richard Beasley do? He is going to come straight in as well. That'll be so beneficial to Dan. Get out of Beasley, get O'Reilly out of his way, get Cloudon out of his way. He can hunt after Pacina now.
But I don't know if O'Reilly might have a stop go there. He was really late to the limit. That looked quick.
This is now the stage of the race where there's a little lull. with only 12 cars, aren't there? Now, the bonus for Ben is Richard Beasley's... Oh, he's on the exit. So Ben is, I think, on the same lap as Richard.
Beasley's repaired his damage, but that was just so unlucky. He just dipped a wheel on the grass and it spat the car towards the wall.
And like you said, Pierre, earlier in qualifying, it is narrow here, so the walls come up pretty quick.
Yeah, this is close as you can get to a street circuit without being on a street circuit. I'm glad we don't have Monaco.
Yeah, you and me both. I know, I know if we had one certain American track, Dan would probably pick that, and that would be Long Beach. Can't believe TV dropped a wheel on stream. He won't be rushing to watch that back, I'm sure. I'm sure that's obviously on about Richard Beasley. RB. Here comes insert coin. There we go, he's correct himself, RB. Insert coin coming out. O'Reilly not yet off the limiter.
O'Reilly
he's off the limiter now, yeah, and insert coin crosses the line. This could be close, you know.
Could be, yeah. I tell you what, that Mustang actually looks really good in black.
It does. I thought that with O'Reilly's livery. Yeah, look at that. Insert coin has gained some time over O'Reilly. So did O'Reilly change tyres?
He must have done. How that was stepping out on the curbs. He had to have taken tyres.
So this gap comes down a little bit. Clouden now comfortable in the lead. He's a lap ahead of Ben.
Yeah, as Pacina fourth was not bad.
Yeah, 2.8 to Dan. So he's got a bit of a gap, and Pacina will fight Dan, I reckon. 26 minutes left, so Dan's Lamborghini just hasn't looked the outright quickest tonight, has it? I think Clouden has been. The Fords have looked good cars, to be fair, tonight. I think this is one of the best shows. Kieran Argent may be kicking himself that he couldn't make last night's race, because this is one of the best showings we've seen from the Fords.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they'll be like at Valencia next week for the finale. Tune in on Tuesday for GT4s, and after the second race of GT4s, a live Alpine Bernie.
I agree with that comment in the chat as well. Insert coin, podium, his first podium of the season in the first race, on for another here, looking at a top two possibly. Been very impressive in a Honda that is the oldest car on this grid. All these cars are the newer ones.
Yeah, well, Hoffner here this week in the M6, isn't he?
Yeah, there's no Astons, there's no Mercedes. So this is a real good drive.
Sky's off. Sky's gone off at the chicane. He might have hit something.
Doesn't look too bad. Got a scuff on the right hand side and the rear. I think he's hit the rear hard. So that could be awful.
But he's lost out to Gary. Gary is now P9.
Imagine if Gary didn't hit the pit wall, he might have jumped Mike as well.
Yeah, because he would have repaired that damage.
He won't live that down.
You're going to clip that after the stream, aren't you?
He won't live that down. Jamie, Gary doesn't live that one down. Agreed?
Jamie's got to go back and clip it now. Watch.
Yeah. Jamie's on it. That might be one to go on the YouTube shorts with Dan's spinning moment at Silverstone last year.
Oh, yeah. That was so funny.
That might be one for that. Meanwhile, Clouden's got a 12-second lead, and Insert Coin is still putting pressure on O'Reilly. These two had a good battle in the first race, if you remember, with Ben, I do believe.
Yeah, they did, and Coin's got to be. Well, the Honda's definitely better in the corners. Well, it would be because it's Japanese precision versus American brute force.
Tough on Clouden as he has bossed both races, but Coin has been great in the old tub. Yeah, and I think that's the thing is, I hate giving driver of the day to a driver that wins both races unless it's been an absolute belter of a race. Race 1 he was close with Dan, good race for Clouden. Race 2 he's bossed it. He has bossed it, let's be honest, he's been the best driver. O'Reilly's had a good race, bar the damage in race 1. Dan had a good race 1. Pacina's had a decent night. For me, Insert Coin, in a car that's not got a podium all season, will lack until the BOP system comes in. I think Coin's done a top job.
Yeah. Glad we're going backwards at the Hindi road course as well.
Oh my days. That was phenomenal. That was on Project Cars 2. as O'Reilly just dropping a wheel over the grass there. This gap 3 seconds. Dan's lost time to Pacina.
Yeah, I think the Mustang's got it. Cool.
Hey, we're here all week to do the commentary. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Well, you'll be watching me swearing at an Alpine on Tuesday.
I can't believe I swore in the interviews on Tuesday. Just gone.
Yes, Matt. And I thought it was normally me who swears.
Yeah. Chris giving his vote away at Dan. Yeah, Dan's another shout for it. I like the underdog, and the Honda just is the underdog in this grid. Insert Coin seems a cracking driver, a quick driver. And I think when the bop comes in, I think if Insert Coin stays in that Honda, you could see a guy that will take the fight.
Can you imagine if Louis Allen was still with us in the Honda?
I think he'd be Pro-Am.
He'd be Pro-Am again, yeah, because...
Well, he was in the chat the other week, wasn't he, saying he could be back soon, so it might be worth dropping Louis Allen a little message, you know.
And the same with Billy
According to Fat Bloke, Dan has chewed through his tyres, according to Sam. Does Sam have Dan's stream on? Gray 6.9 off the back of him, but Dan cannot catch Pacina. Pacina's not been a slouch. He really hasn't. It's hard when you've got a short grid like this and one of them has a good race. It's hard to see who you give it to. This is the closest fight on circuit, though. The O'Reilly Insert Coin battle. And I'll tell you what, let's bring you a couple of different camera angles. Let's find the fight and bring you some different angles of the fight.
I'll keep an eye on gaps for anybody else. If anyone else that's within sniffing distance.
So this is looking back from O'Reilly at the moment. There is it.
Great cross.
Did he just clip the pit wall there? I think O'Reilly just clipped the pit wall on the rear wing we've just seen.
Chris, Ben is having the most crashes in the race. I think he's playing Demolition Derby. He's way too young. He's way too young for Demo Derby because that was released on PS1. I got it. And Breakfast. Love Breakfast. Yeah, but O'Reilly, I think, was holding Coin out. I think
O'Reilly through the chicane there. That was absolutely monstrous from the Ford Mustang. And look at it pull away from the Honda in the straights.
Yeah, I reckon we're going to see a few more Mustangs next season.
Yeah, I think so. With time to test, I think we could as well.
I think we might see the Big B coming back. The Bentley. With a few drivers. Maybe more V8 Astons with the bot as well. For Merc.
Yeah, Hondas. Let's wait and see what happens in the next season. O'Reilly pulled half a second out over that. Dan's now 3.6 behind. He's still gapping Ian Gray though. So that's the bonus for Dan at the moment, that he's gapping Gray but can't catch Pacina. This is what Clouden wants. This is what Clouden needs here. This is huge points for Jamal. At the minute, 56 points going his way. Dan Davis, 37. So a 19-point gap. The gap's 68 as it is. That'll take it into the 50s. No, that'll take it into the 40s. Which means a good-sized grid next week. Clouden could win this championship. Now, this then goes on to a... What does Clouden really want to focus on? The GT3s? The GT4s? Or both?
Both, known Clouden.
Yeah.
Known Clouden, he's a racer, isn't he? Because we've spoke to him a few times in parties on the PlayStation. He's a racer. He'll race anything if we give him a chance.
As long as it's got 4 wheels and a steering wheel, he'll give it a good crack.
I reckon he'll give it a go on 2 wheels as well.
Probably so. Is SimPlay Wreckfest night? Is it crossplay? Not sure. Believe so.
I think it is now. Sure, the latest version.
You're going to have a fun night of Wreckfesting.
I love Wreckfest. Just brilliant.
Sky Shundelmeyer's back on. Oh no! I say he's back on, Gary Leach. He was back in Gary Leach here. Not sure what happened. Caught the end of that one. Gary was sideways and and Schindlermeyer made contact with him. So was that Gary all on his own and Tibbs had nowhere to go or what? I'm not 100% sure. But more damage for Gary, more damage for Schindlermeyer.
O'Reilly's dropped coin a little bit now. It's the gap's over
and
to a second.
Gained 6 seconds over Clouden. Has Clouden made a mistake?
Has Clouden made a mistake? Maybe check Clouden's car, see if he's got any damage. I could really check. He's probably streaming.
Can't see any.
No, I can't see
right side as he comes through this next corner. Gap's down to 5.9 now. Did O'Reilly change tyres and Clouden did not?
And Clouden's tyres have just dropped off a cliff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know.
And the temp's gone up to 35 now, track temp. So.
Well, this is now worth keeping our eyes on, isn't it?
I don't know whether to count Coin out either, because he's not a million miles away.
Well, the gap's 5.9. Oh, he's gone deep. Clouden's gone deep at the final chicane. He's struggling all of a sudden.
Has he put the wrong pads in? Left the qualifying pads in. They work in the GT4s because it's only a 20-minute race.
Shh. Move that strategy away.
Well, it's already over for me, isn't it? So,
if I get that strategy away, it's not for me, is it?
You watch it, it'll be wet now for Valencia.
I doubt it this time of year for Spain. Wreckfest actually plays really well on wheel. Yeah, I like it on wheel.
Play it in first person.
How's the elbow,
as well.
Clauble? How's the elbow? I agree with Chris. I reckon this is tyres for Clouden. Tyres dead, says Fat Bloke. Has Fat Bloke got the streams on?
Oh, Sam. I still think Sam should become a commentator as well.
Him and Paul Williams have a bit of commentary on F1, man. That's not bad.
We had a whole conversation about the F1 game, which was the last decent one, F1 2020.
Which Dan Davis is doing an exciting new series on F1.
I've started one as Nigel Mansell on F1 24.
Dan's going from F1 2020, he's doing one season on my team, and he's going to take the same team to the next one and do it like that as if it is the rule changes and everything else. I don't think Clouden took tyres either, and I reckon O'Reilly did, because O'Reilly was a couple of seconds, probably the damage. So that'll help Beasley and Ben out. I reckon Clouden didn't take tyres because he pulled a big gap over O'Reilly.
I don't think Coyne did
and
either.
I don't think Coyne did, because Coyne gained on the back of O'Reilly. I think O'Reilly could be in for Ford's first ever win.
Yeah, because there's no...
Which Clouden won't want. Yeah, he's still going to gain big over Dan, but he'll want to gain, that extra 5 points over Dan.
Was there only 4 GT3s on Project Cars 2?
No.
No, it was only the GTE.
You had the GTE Ford.
Yeah, because that predates the Mustang, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't make me load up Project Cars 2.
That was a fantastic car. Gary's out the pits. As Beasley's coming to the final chicane. So Gary should stay ahead of Beasley. 3.1 the gap though. 14 minutes left in this race. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. We are fast approaching 750. Thanks to you guys this season, we have gained nearly 100 subscribers since the first endurance race in the middle of May. So thank you all very much. As well as hit that thumbs up button and the bell to be notified when we are live. GT4 finale next week at Valencia on Tuesday night, 8 PM GMT +1. Dan Davis will be bringing you all the action of that one. Me and Dan Davis will be back in the box for the finale of Pro-Am on Wednesday night, same time, and me and Phil will be back on Thursday night, same time as well.
So, Clarb also said elbow is healing great, but going to have limited movement in hand due to the damage already done to the nerves.
Yeah, that's fine, Clarb. It's good to see that you're healing. It's just a shame you had the sustained the injury, because Clarb was a decent driver. Look at O'Reilly's gap, PN.
Yeah,
he's coming. Clouden didn't take tyres. Oh, Daz was in the chat, wasn't he? Daz, comment if you're still there. Silly boys do silly strategies like Darren Yo. And I think Cloudon's possibly just messed his strategy up. You know what I mean. You know where I'm going with that.
Oh, I do know where you mean.
I'll tell him on Sunday. He'll be told off.
Especially for the FBR race. That's mad. And we also have a Patreon. We need to plug up
we do.
Patreon.
If you want to get into the Patreon, I need to get the link ready and post the link. So I need to get that in the description. We'll sort it out.
Because there's only one member, me. So I've reserved the number and I've done the track
if
pick.
it was a Patreon, you'd be able to get a pick a track. Here is Daz. Now, if Daz had run 100% fuel, he'd have got a second place on Sunday, but he didn't. And I keep telling him, and he doesn't listen. Now, I couldn't tell him this week I was in Scotland, so he's been let off. And Daz could do with a second. Get them points. He could win that championship. O'Reilly bouncing over the turn 1 curb, drops a wheel into the gravel.
Starting to push too hard. You don't want to push too hard.
He's got the tyres in this race to catch Cloudon. I'm telling you now, he's got the tyres.
He's got the tyres, but you don't want to overdrive the car either. Because that's when the stupid mistake comes in.
Yeah.
I'm just a lowly GT4 car driver and an endurance. I'm carried by Ben. Barger. Literally carried.
2.3 seconds the gap now, Phil. So that shows how much he lost through turn 1. Nah, we're not going to tell you that. He's not going to fall for that trick.
No, I'm not.
All the tracks have actually been selected by the admins. I'm going to come off
Cloudon's
I'm going to
lagging.
come off Cloudon.
Cloudon was lagging then,
I've come off Cloudon. Yeah, the admins have picked their tracks. So 5 tracks have been selected. In the Discord, there will be an option, I think tonight or tomorrow. Mike's going to put one up in the suggestions bit, where you can vote on your favourite. Dan Davis drive through penalty track limits!
Dan's pushed too far. Oh.
Well, that opens the floodgates. Cloudon really needs to hang on to a race win.
He needs his internet to hang on. Just he's starting to teleport.
So where's King? King's at the second chicane. Where's Dan? Into the pits.
Straight away. Yeah.
Time lost for a drive-through. You lose 34% of your lap.
He might get in front of Mike.
You lose 30 seconds. Oh, he'll easily get... Mike's got huge damage. Mike has got huge damage. Mike's bonnet's lifted. Ian Gray is through. Dan is nearly off the limiter. King's not out the final chicane yet. Exits the final chicane now. Dan Davis still not off that limiter. He's off it now. There comes King. I think King's got Dan done. It'll be close, but I don't think it's going to be close enough.
There's Dan's car.
It is pretty close. It is pretty close. So Cloudon's coming. Cloudon's cleared O'Reilly. O'Reilly's done. Dan with the drive-through. Yeah, there'll possibly be rule changes. That's all to be discussed in the admin meeting as well, Chris. Obviously, there is a suggestion feedback on the Discord. So if any drivers or member of the community want to see some rule changes, get them in on the suggestion feedback page. We'll discuss all in the admin meeting. It is tight with King. It was tight with King, and that's the gap. Insert coin now gaining on O'Reilly again.
Damn. Well, we did Am used to be the cleanest. Seriously, Am was the cleanest racers.
Now does Travis help Cloudon? He had a bit of a wiggle there. Jamal looks like he's got back into a rhythm. Does Travis help Cloudon a little bit?
He looked like his internet stabilised as well. But he might have been shouting at someone, get off my internet. But with that car teleporting in, that might have put O'Reilly off.
Yeah.
Because you think, where is it?
Well, O'Reilly's gapped into coin 4/10. 8 3/4 minutes left in this race. Oh, now let's do a quick calculation, because the gap would have been into the 40 odd points. Cloudon scores 56. Dan at the minute is 7th. That'll give Dan 30. That'll be a 26-point swing. That'll take that down to 42 points with 113 up for grabs. This is going down to the wire.
It is. So we better hopefully get the drivers for Valencia as well, because
Clouden will be wanting the drivers for Valencia. Clouden will be wanting them.
We want the drivers to put on the show for you guys watching.
There's 27 people still in the stream. That is fantastic. Who's going airborne in the last 10 minutes? It all kicked off yesterday. Well, it's kind of kicked off in the last 10 minutes today with Dan getting the drive-through. Travis King, a little wiggly through the middle sector, at the middle chicane. And O'Reilly's brought the gap down to under 2.5 seconds. He's took a good chunk out of Clouden again.
He has. He's got. From there, he's got. Well, I'm trying to work out how many laps I've got. Probably about 3 or 4 laps, roughly.
I think we've got about 4. Where's Clouden? Just going into the first chicane. Gap's down to 2.3, so that's another 10th in the first sector.
And Coin's keeping with him a bit more better now.
Yeah, 1.5.
So.
Yeah. Now Tibbs has got a drive through. Oh, going on a report.
It's a nightmare. You just brush to the triangle, don't you?
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
No, it's been fantastic end to all the nights worth of racing. O'Reilly through the middle sector, down to 2 seconds on Clouden.
Oh, and look, there's a lappery ahead. Tibbs is straight in for his drive-through.
Yep, saddle clear from Clouden. 140 is Ben, so Ben will move out his way. Mike's got damage and Mike will move out the way. Yeah, I think that's one that's going to be discussed, Chris, to be fair. Getting rid of the pit window and just having it as an open race, but they have to pit at any time. That's one to keep our eyes on. Because you can force the mandatory fuel without having a pit window,
stop.
can't you?
Yeah, or mandatory stop by the fuel or tyres, isn't it? So, fuel 1 litre.
We can't do that, unfortunately. Oh, no, yeah, we can actually just have it for mandatory refuel, yeah.
Yeah.
Drive-through cleared for Tibbs. Gary Leach, I don't think, got past.
No, Gary's now coming.
Yeah, he's coming
towards
up.
the
He's
last
just in front of this fight here. 1.9 O'Reilly to Clouden.
Here comes O'Reilly again.
And insert coin's not close to O'Reilly, but he's coming with O'Reilly.
He is.
I don't think Dan can get close enough to King here, Phil.
No,
he's lost 9/10 of a second in the last sector. Yeah, I don't think Dan can do anything else about this. He's not going to worry about his teammate. His teammate's got huge damage, so he's done. Sky is P9. He stayed ahead of Gary, who's got 9 seconds to Richard Beasley. Ben's on the back of Mike now to unlap himself. Mike's just pulling straight out the way, I think, there. No, he didn't. That's just me looking out wrong. 1.8 the gap. Oh, O'Reilly's just gone on the grass a bit.
You don't want to do that again.
Is that him just pushing a little too hard again?
It is a fine line of pushing too hard and being right in the zone. As Casino's in no man's land, as is Gray.
We know one track that's not on the calendar next season. That is Zolder. It's been on the last 2 seasons. So Zolder will not be returning as Mike lets Ben through.
Beasley's round again.
He also lets Clouden through. In fact, Mike's coming to a standstill to let O'Reilly and Coin through.
Mike's like, I don't want to do any more laps. I have to. Yeah, Beasley's just spun up again.
That's probably put to bed the end of Beasley versus Gary. Dan's back within 4/10 of King. So Dan wants that extra place here. King's just got to hang on for... It is hard to find the limit and keep it consistent. 40 laps, you're absolutely right. And O'Reilly's just dropped back over 2 seconds. They've got Gary Leach about to lap in front of them. Dan back within half a second now of Travis King. 3.5 minutes left. Where's Clouden? Just crosses the line. I think there's enough for 2 more laps here. Possibly a third.
I'll tell you what, I know my driver day.
Yeah, same here. With a lot of honourable mentions.
Yeah.
Gary's now receiving the blue flags like Dan did earlier. So he's got a couple of corners to move out the way.
Yeah, Clouden's now coming up to that Ben. What could have been? Ben had the pace.
Yeah,
again.
he did. He did, and with Dan's drive through and everything, Ben probably could have been on the podium for his first one. Gary now pulls out the way out of the final chicane. Second podium, sorry, yeah, apologies.
Now, if some games have VR support, unfortunately this is not one of them.
Dan looking underneath here on King. Can't get anything done. O'Reilly's back to 1.6.
Yeah.
There's going to be 2 laps after this for Cloud. He's hit the final chicane. And what's a lap time here? 1:30 something?
They're probably 129s actually race pace.
129s,
so.
yeah, apologies. So, here we go. Clouden will start the penultimate lap of the race. And Danny's on the back of Travis King now. O'Reilly's within 1.6. 12 cars. Brilliant racing though, Phil. Brilliant racing.
Brilliant racing. Now Dan is on King. They just got past lap Gary. I know it's
this is why Dan's an 8-time champion. This is the persistence of the man. This is why he's an 8-time champion. You know, he's going to have a look. Just a little sniff, though, just to let Travis know that he's there. 2 laps left, Daniel, to just claw some points back off of Clouden. A quick run through of the current list. It is Jamal Clouden from O'Reilly with insert coin in 3rd. Pacina is P4. Ian Gray up to P5 with Travis King P6 from Dan Davis P7. Mike Matthews is 8th. Sky Shundermeyer 9th. Gary Leach in 10th. Richard Beasley 11th. Ben P12. Good on Ben for keeping going. He's only 12 seconds off the back, 14 seconds off the back of Beasley. I don't think Dan's tyres have got enough to get him past King. You can catch him, he just doesn't seem to have enough to get past him. Although that'll help if King keeps dropping a wheel in the gravel.
Yeah, as Clouden's about to start the last lap of this race.
Alright man, the leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
So Dan's got the rest of this lap and the next one to go. He's looking on King now, isn't he? He's looking a bit more.
He's having a little... thinking, where can I get past this McLaren cleanly? And bear in mind, King could be helping Clouden out a lot now.
O'Reilly's within 1.4. That's opened back up to 1.6. We will jump on board Clouden in just a moment.
Last lap now for Dan to try and get past King and get another vital point.
Couple of points, yeah, be a handful of points here. He is trying to force a mistake. You can just see that from Dan, but we're going to go back to Clouden.
As he heads towards the hairpin.
It's been a dominant second race, and it's going to be a day where he claws big points back on Dan Davis in this championship fight. It has been absolutely fantastic, and Jamal Clouden really is making his voice heard. He takes the double at Zolder. O'Reilly takes second place. Insert coin crosses for third. Mike Matthews will cross down the order for that 8th place, ahead of Pacina, who will take a solid 4th. By the way, great result for him. Ian Gray. Great result for Ian Gray, P5. Best result of the season.
No man's land rising.
Pretty much.
No one around him.
Not at all. Sky Schundelmeyer finishes down the order in 9th place. Gary Leach looks like he's going to come home for that top 10 with Richard Beasley finishing 11th. But Ian Gray P6. Has Travis King done enough? He's got the gap over Dan Davis. Travis King looks like he's going to manage to hang on in there for P6 with Dan Davis in 7th place then. So for Dan Davis, loses a lot of points tonight over Jamal Cloud, and there then is Gary Leach in 10th place, just awaiting Richard Beasley in 11th. And then it is Ben in 12th. And we'll hopefully get a few of the PlayStation boys in for a chat tonight.
Did O'Reilly join on GT4's podium?
No,
on Discord?
he didn't. I don't think we did. No, I don't think Dan went over to the Discord chat. We will leave that over for the time being because I'm not feeling great tonight unless you fancy doing the interviews. That was your pro race to the finale, and I tell you what a finale this is going to be, because there is only 42 points in it. SimPlay Racing are your Constructors Champions, so hopefully we can get a word from Dan and Mike Matthews about that, and hopefully we can get Jamal Clouden in here as well. But your championship standings provisionally, obviously, until the results are fully classified at the end. Dan Davis from Jamal Clouden, overtaker, out of the running now, with Michael Harris 4th, Eckholt 5th. Gary Leach caught them, couldn't pass them, P6. RB Racing P7 loses a couple of points to Gary in that second race. Insert Coin up to 8th. He's close to getting ahead of Gary and RB as well with a cracking night. Mike P9 with Sky Schundelmeyer only a point behind him in 10th place. Ian Gray 11th from Ben in 12th. That's close there. Pacina's up to 13th ahead of Hoffer. O'Reilly moves up to 15th with King, Fuchs, Newman. Then the next couple of places. Then it is Stein, Friedman, Burton, Flem, Bates, Saber, Kyle, Mitroff, Cannon, Kreuzer, Joseph and Clarbel. Nobody yet joining us in the commentary box, Phil. Looking at the chat, great job by the top three. It was another good racing another good evening of racing and commentary for both Matt and Phil. See you all in the final race. Thank you very much, Chris. All great racing, well done the podium. Insert coin. Nice racing, feel better, Matt, and goodbye everyone. Thank you very much, Tracy. Phil, driver of the day from yourself and final thoughts.
Driver of the day is Coin. In that old Honda, but he's been solid. Both podium, both races. So there you go, Cranky. Honda can finish on the podium. As he asked in the chat last week.
I'm going to go insert Coin as well. He's no longer in the lobby for us to view, but I'm going to go insert Coin as well. But a shout out to O'Reilly, a shout out to Pacina, Dan Davis as well, and Jamal Clouden.
Yeah.
42 points is the gap. We've got 113 to play for. And I tell you what, the form of the last 3 weeks, Jamal Clouden's the man to beat Dan Davis at the minute. Dan looks shaken.
Or stirred, one of the two. Yeah, and as Mike has just joined the party for SimPlay Racing.
Yeah, we'll wait for his teammate to join us, who gets in now. We will speak with Mike in a few moments' time. Not the night for Mike Matthews in this one tonight. Still in that top 10 fight with Sky Schundelmeyer for 10th place. Could he gain on insert coin winning to Valencia? That's the biggest one. Dan Davis joins us as well. We will get to speak to him about his podium. No Jamal Clouden at the moment. So we can chat with Dan Davis now. We'll speak first of all about that race one podium. Dan, second place. You got on the back of Clouden. Excuse me. You got on the back of Clouden in that first race. Just didn't have enough to possibly get past him at the end of it.
No, I don't know what happened to him. He obviously had some form of damage. The Lamborghini was always going to struggle here. I've got internet problems as well. Anytime I got near a car, they all started disappearing. So, again, this one is slowly disappearing, I think, because of just no luck in the last half of the season. And, yeah, I just don't get why some drivers are so impatient at the start. But it is what it is. You know, Clouden's taking full advantage. And, yeah, just not the night, not for the Lamborghini or for me. Never done well around here, and it's just, yeah, a lot of work to do come last race.
A lot of work to do come the last race. And was that the story of the race too as well, Dan? Just pretty much the Lamborghini just lacking?
I mean, well, no, not really. I was on the pace of the leaders, but it doesn't help when you get taken out in lap 2. I know Ben probably missed his brakes, but you know, where else was I meant to go? And that's kind of just set the tone for the rest of the race. But he probably didn't do it intentionally, and I get that. But it's frustrating when you got to try and come back. And I was flying through the pack as quickly as I could, but the damage was already done. And with the lack of cars here, there's no fights, there's no chance to gain and you know, get opportunities. And just the Lamborghini was always going to struggle around here. Actually loses weight around here, and what I've also learned, it struggles in the heat. It seems a lot slower in the heat, so good luck next week, I guess.
42 points is the gap. The drive-through didn't help, did it, either, because that would have given you at least another 2 positions in this race.
It's just frustration. It's just frustration kicking in, and yeah, just like I said, it snowballed from literally lap 2 downwards. I just wasn't in the mindset, and like I said, I think this championship is slowly dwindling away, and with the internet problems I was suffering as well, I'm going to be sending a very angry message to Sky to get their together. And you know, I don't want to be racing cars and them disappearing and accidentally hit them. So now, I said, well done to Clouden. He's taken full advantage of my mishaps, so fair play.
Now, one thing I've got to ask you, and Mike can answer this one as well. Gary into the pit wall. There had to be a few chuckles in that party chat tonight.
I mean, that's probably the only thing that made me smile tonight. But
yeah, agreed.
I mean, Gary's had a bad one since the moment he got into the session. Put it this way, he forgot to actually plug his wheel in, and he was wondering why the car would just turn left all the time, because he actually hadn't plugged it to the wall, so he had no power steering or anything, thinking it was on his controller, and that's why he missed race 1. So Gary's had we've had an eventful night. He's had a very eventful night.
You guys have had a bad night. Gary's put a smile on your face, to say the least.
He's had a horrendous night.
42 points then going into next week. Valencia probably looking pretty warm, and Michael's obviously going to be doing the weather at the moment. What can you do around there? Bike circuit, as we know. What's the game plan? What's the mindset going into next week?
The advantage I have is I've already done a championship race at Valencia, so I know what I'm letting myself in for. But at the same time, I know the Lamborghini was strong in that one as well. It's a lot of medium speed corners, so the Lamborghini tends to go well on them. It's just the heat. Can I keep the tyres down? And literally all I've got to do is follow Clouden. If he makes a mistake, then I benefit. If he doesn't make a mistake, then I've just got to stick to him or beat him. You know, it's as simple as that. Yeah. And you know, he's made me sweat towards the end of the season, and there's more times I'll look back this season and go, that shouldn't have happened, that shouldn't have happened. But I just think drivers need to be mindful that there is a championship fight going on, and just be wary. That's all. You can get stuck in, but also just be a bit wary of what's going on.
Before we get on to another constructors win for yourself, does this kind of give you and Andy vibes, your third championship of Project Cars 2? No. Andy having a good season, going into that back half, started to take his drop scores.
Well, yeah, if you take it to the flip side.
Yeah, does it kind of give you that vibe of the way this championship fight's gone?
Yeah, I think as well, looking at the first half of the season, probably like Andy did, the first half of the season was very strong for me. It's my kind of my circuit, it's my tracks, and the Lamborghini suits them. Towards the back end of the season, I've just had incidences from drivers that I shouldn't be having with, and Watkins Glen is one that will come to mind, and you know, tonight as well, and Zandvoort as well. It's just silly little errors from other drivers that I end up getting tagged in, or I make an error, and you know, it's just it's racing. At the end of the day, it is racing, and there's nothing you can do. You just got to get on with it. And I think also the sim rig, the brand new sim rig, is a curse, because since I've got this, it's just going backwards. So I might put the snapped one back together and see if I can win on that.
Well, you stay there for 2 seconds. We're going to come back to you and Mike in a few moments' time. We're going to speak with Jamal first. Jamal, 2 race wins tonight, 2 fastest laps, a pole position, clean sweep. Last time we saw that was Dan Davis at Snetterton. 42 points, man. This is game on, is it not?
Game on, indeed. Indeed, it is. I do feel bad for Dan. I didn't want it to go down that way. It was such a shame that he got taken out by Ben. But again, I was comfortable for majority of the race, but towards the end, the car just started to drop off, and I was just trying to maintain to just stay ahead of Mr. O'Reilly, where he was just catching me at a fast rate of knots.
Yeah, and you have to kind of thank O'Reilly in a way for making his little mistakes, because he was really gaining on you at, like you say, a fast rate to knots. And if he didn't make his mistakes, do you think he'd have got past you in this race?
Yeah, 100%. I had a feeling that he would have more than likely got past me with the mistakes that I'd done. Coming up to the chicane, I touched the grass, lost a bit of concentration and had a spin. So I am very fortunate that he had a few mistakes, but yeah, ready for the next one.
Now we go into Valencia, 42 points being the gap. What can you do there? Again, what's the mindset? What's the game plan going into next week?
Valencia, I have driven there a few times. The McLaren is very planted around there. I have got experience in the heat, so I am feeling quite comfortable around there for sure.
Clouden not feeling the heat or the pressure. That's what I like to see, because this leads on to my final question. You're going for that GT4 championship with myself and Schundelmeyer on Tuesday. You're going into the finale of Pro with Dan on Thursday. Is there anyone you'd rather win, or is it a case of you want both? Any focus on one championship more than the other? Pretty equal. What's your thought process? Because obviously you want that good start on Tuesday night. If you come away with a GT4 championship, you're already in the right mindset, good frame of mind, good positive reaction from Tuesday going into Thursday. Is that the plan, of take momentum Tuesday into Thursday?
Correct, yeah. I'm literally coming after both to just literally make a statement and stamp my foot here in the league to let the big boys know, to say that, yo, I'm here to win, you know.
Yeah. Well, Clouden, congratulations tonight. Well done, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday night at Valencia. Brilliant race from you tonight. Just missed out on everybody's driver of the day, because that's gone the way in the comms box and in the chat to insert coin. And that leads me on to Mike Matthews, who was a Honda driver, Phil, back on the PS4 days. He's now a two-time Constructors champion, carried by Dan Davis. But,
this season, definitely.
But he's a two-time champion nonetheless. In a Honda, Mike, with the BOP more than likely coming next season, that possibly made you smile a little bit tonight, seeing the Honda's performance.
Yeah, it's a shame this track's not here if the Honda's getting decent BOP next season. Yeah, I had a shocker tonight, a collision in race 1, which a ticket's gone in, and I messed up at the same corner, race 2 with Tibbs, and then, yeah, I just struggled
Tonight, but a second Constructors Championship. One of the drivers who started, the very first pro win in your hands. You've now finally got back-to-back Constructors Championship. Yes, it's not the drivers that you probably want, but you've got to be happy with it. You've got to take another team's championship and move into that third season knowing that you're one of the defending champions.
Yeah, it's nice. Let's not beat around the bush. As you said, Dan's done most of the work for us this season. Last season it was pretty 50-50. This season, yeah, I've had an absolute nightmare, and I can't wait to get out of this car.
And Dan, thoughts from yourself as well. That's another Constructors Championship. I think we'll have to count up how many of these you've won. But it's another GT3 one to your name. It's another one now with Mike. It seems that you have you always seem to pick good partners in these championships, and some people that can carry you or that can help you on your way to win these titles.
Well, yeah, I think this season definitely I've done all the hard work. No offense to Mike, he's just not adapted to the Lamborghini. I still go back to the very first race of the season before we even started, and I said to Mike, you choose whatever you pick, we'll run. And he didn't want my season being affected, so he gone Lambo. But there was 2 other cars in discussion. One was the Mustang, we were talking about it, and then there was the Ferrari. What season could have been if I was in a Ferrari? It might have been a completely different story. We don't know. But yeah, that's another Constructors to the name. Maybe it's time for something different. Maybe it's time to go a bit independent and see what I can do on my own, maybe, or whatever. But either way, Mike's been an awesome teammate as always. There to help me out when I need him, and he's there every race, and that's what matters. That's why we're at the top. He's there, he's scoring points, he's getting to the end, and that counts at the end of the day. Every point counts, no matter what it is. So, and that's why you never give up. You push right to the very end. Even when things are going wrong, you keep going, you keep pushing until until you eventually crash or end up finished. But no, I think that's what 7 or 8 now. I think
8
constructors.
I just had a quick count. I believe that's 3 with Biggs, 2 with Mike, 1 with Craig Leach, 1 with Kelly Davis, and 1 with Keegs in Formula 2. So I believe that's 8 to my recognition. So 8 constructors, 8 drivers at the moment. Obviously, you're going to be fighting for that drivers next week. Phil, cracking night's worth of racing. Short grid, plenty of entertainment though out there tonight. Dan Davis will be back in the commentary box on Tuesday night, 8 PM GMT +1 for the finale of the GT4. Schundelmeyer, Clouden, Duffin, all gloves off for that one. Pro-Am, myself and Dan Davis back in the box same time Wednesday evening. That one's pretty much for pride for a few drivers up and down the order in terms of that championship, and then we're back here. Do not miss it. Hit that bell to know when we are live next Thursday. Clouden versus Dan Davis. 8 times versus no time. Possibly could be a 1 time by the time Thursday rolls around. It is going to be fantastic. You will not want to miss it. Myself and Phil will be back in the box next Thursday. We have had some last day dramas here at SimPlay Motorsport. This could add to another exciting venture into that territory. The last time Dan went down to the last race of the season, it was in the dark at Spa with the snow. It's midday. It's probably boiling hot at Valencia, so that isn't the worry. But it's going to be epic. You are not going to want to miss it. That is all, though, we have time for this week at Zolder. And Zolder will not make the calendar for next season, so we will not see Zolder for at least another 2 seasons. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button. Press that big red subscribe button. If you are new to the channel, we are trying to get 750 by the end of next Thursday. And hit that bell to be notified. Good night. We'll see you for the finale.
Night.
And we are clear.
Right, mids.
Right.
Streaming.
Michael, stop it.
I've just said that now. You can fuck off, man. How the fuck am I at fault for that? I'm not being funny, but he cuts the fucking corner and then goes to the apex of the other one.
Anyway, good night, my stream. I'll catch you all later. Hit that like button, subscribe as well, do whatever you need to do. Clouden has caught us up, but I do think this one's slipping away. We need to speak to Sky and sort out this fucking internet because it is outrageous. But nonetheless, we won constructors again, and I'll catch you next time. See you all later.
Oh fuck, I was on mute!
For what?
Dan was being a bit glum at the end of his stream there, and I says, Dan, let's be positive, 4 months, 10 days till Christmas, and I was on fucking mute.
Mate, do you know the funny thing as well?
What?
I was still streaming on Twitch, even when you went, fuck!
Well, just then.
Fucking Ben, man, why? Why? Oh, fuck me, man.
Was it a bad hit?
It wasn't a bad hit, it was 8/10 of damage, but it was just, you know, I can't just rejoin, can I? I have to wait for the entire pack.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
And then the Lamborghini just went shit. The setup was beautiful in the cooler conditions. When it was like, you know,
where's the fucking
fairly decent conditions, it was great.
Lovely,
you know?
yeah.
But in the heat, I had no pace. I was actually probably one of the slower guys. How I managed to get mid-pack, and then just following King and his lag and my lag, my internet was fucking doing my head in again. And now, after the race, it's cooled off again. It's chilled out. Now we've gone to Valencia. It's spot on.
So it is 100% your internet?
I don't know. I don't know. But
weird.
You know, I don't know if Sky's had some maintenance done. I don't know what. You know, but I couldn't. There was literally, you watched my stream, cars were disappearing, left, right, and centre. Left, right, and centre, and just, you know.
I'm not going to go in the other party with Jay and Tony.
I have absolutely no idea where I'm fucking going on this track.